Everybody, welcome back to the panel quantum show, quantum panel. Uh, okay, first hour we went over tributes to Lilith, basic tributing. Right, that's very basic. I don't say it's not advanced. That's very
No.
level one basic tribute.
Oh boy, is it.
Yeah, it talked about
Tributes
uh,
are a lot safer for people
right,
that are not do not understand what they're doing.
right, and I gave the basic how to. Right. And she did, so that's good. And hopefully things will look up for her. But went over that, talking about how to talk to spirit guides, how I communicate with spirit guides, my two that I am aware of. Talked about the random starseed encounter. That was mind blowing, let me tell you. I met that girl and she was already glowing. And when she Googled what a star child was, she went, boom, even more.
Oh
And I was
yeah.
like, wow. I mean, it wasn't a overpowering light,
No.
empathic light.
They're
It
more
wasn't a
like being next to a very pleasant fireside.
right. Very,
Just
and this one was
warming, and it's one of the best experiences you can have to be involved with one.
yeah. And she was, I don't know, she's still in the goofy human package, but still, it was there. I could tell. I could just tell. I was like, whoa. I mean, she wasn't super pretty or anything like that. I mean, she
Yeah.
was cute for, I don't know, 15, 16, I suppose. But there's a sense. There's a sense. I see there's another dimension of perception for me. I don't know if that's a good way to put it or what, but
Yeah, it happens when you begin to awaken in other dimensions. You also begin to awaken in other dimensions from there, and it seems to go across the board. It's sort of like watching that wonderful beginning of Universal Pictures when they light up the world.
right.
It's just like that. Just wow.
Yeah.
Bang
And
on.
she was happy. She was happy about finding what this is. And this guy in a Star Wars shirt just came up to her randomly and told her, "You're this gorgeous thing, and I think you're one," you know? And I wasn't overbearing. I was polite, you know, I was nice. Hey, RPG Grandma, welcome back. Bob Perkins, welcome back. Crafting Gamer, it looks like a show let out. So, all right, welcome back to the Quantum Show. And but yeah, that was, oh wow. I mean, even on every scale, it was like whoosh, well, like happy, just a wave of happiness and joy, just emanate, just boom, and it hit me. I was like,
did, did you see her aura or did you feel her?
I felt her, and
Ah,
I said that in the first hour too. I think I do see auras, but I've been doing it all my life, and I didn't know that's what I was seeing. I thought that was normal.
yeah.
So I do see people. Depends on my mood, right? If I'm
Mhm.
in a good mood and I'm feeling mellow and chill, then I can feel and see like almost physically, visually, not quite, but almost. But I can see something going on. Um,
I
I
think
can
it's
get,
almost like seeing double for me sometimes.
yeah, for me, it's like
Especially if
seeing,
somebody's not the kind of person I want to be near. My guys are
yeah,
like, oh, you need to go another direction.
yeah, I can, I definitely can sense things like anxiety and fear and overjoyed
Hmm.
and the extreme ones, right? I can definitely. feel the extreme feelings. I don't even have to know the person is there. I will just feel it, and it's like, right? There's
Mm-hmm.
anxiety, and that's where shielding is very important for me because uh, going into a crowded store, that's shielding is very important.
You're
And
learning to
still,
protect yourself still.
right, because you can catch passive stuff floating around too. And that's something I had to learn. There's passive stuff just floating around that people just radiate. And you got to be
People
able to like,
think,
oh, that's not for me, oh, that's not for me over there either. And I don't need to be upset, etc. or anything. Hey, Justin Thor LP.
oh boy.
Okay. Okay, sure thing. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Mhm.
All right. Good deal. Well, white light to you, Shadow, if you're watching. Quantum shine down on you
Yeah,
to take
really.
care of your exorcism in the washroom. Yeah, I think he's removing that evil stain.
I have a sign in my washroom that says no demon summoning allowed.
Yeah, right.
So
Okay.
I would
But
say with what you do, you're still working with getting it not just online with your shielding, but a constant
right, it's
uh,
hard to.
radiation. And
Yeah,
when
I
you stop
know.
thinking about it, it'll be there. You'll realize.
I I'm not there yet, but I do know how to cast a glyph, and a glyph is an energy signature, right? And I can cast a
Mhm.
glyph. I've learned how to do that. I learned that a long time ago, and I can glyph myself, and it will act as a shield or an alarm.
Uh-huh.
That's really fun.
We just call
And
it sigilling, and
hmm
it's the same. It's
sigilling, right?
basically the same animal.
hmm Um, and I prefer to go with runes. I
Hmm.
use runes, the ones I can. They're easy to remember
Hmm.
when you finally get it through your thick head, right? My thick head.
You know, it's like tarot. Once you begin to work uh, with each pad, each little uh, icon or
hmm
ingot, I think is the right word. Once you start working with them, meditating on them, and letting their truth into you so that you can see properly when they do come up,
hmm
you begin to have uh, a storyline begin to form in your mind
hmm
that here I am, I'm doing this, and this is going to follow. This came before, but this is the path that we're following. And this is what we are going to meet on that journey. And it works with tarot the same way, although tarot is a little bit more complicated
Right.
in
Yeah.
its way. I When
hmm
I first started doing tarot, I knew nothing about it. We all start at ground zero and work our way forward.
hmm
And the thing that I learned to do, and I didn't have a guide, I didn't have a coven, I didn't have someone who knew more about it than I did.
hmm
It I had to struggle along for some time, but I just began by reading the actual picture, what it looked like, what it meant to me,
hmm
what I was seeing when I was looking at it, what thoughts it conjured up.
Right.
And when I finally found a key to the thing, I was correct. It was correct right along.
Yeah.
So, and
hmm
there are still things that will come up that I see in a whole different light because of that early learning
Yeah.
and self teaching that gave me an opportunity to use that deck as my own. I have
Right.
a unique insight with it. So
Hmm.
your runes are going to work for you the same way. All you
Hmm.
need to do is take an ingot and commune with it, basically. Here's the base understanding of it in your book, you know, and then
Hmm.
go from there and meditate on it. Ask your guides, hey, show me some more about this. What else can be done with it?
Right.
You know?
I'm going to illustrate what people, in case they don't know what
Okay.
you mean by the ingots, right? I'm going to find a picture on Amazon, and this is a good one right here. Now these are store bought. Okay, you can buy them. They're
You can
good
also make them.
examples. They're easy to make. Um, and I just want this is for just so everyone knows when you say ingot what you're talking about because it could mean something to a lot of different things to different people.
Sure.
I mean, they're thinking. I mean, when I think of ingot, I think of a little square block of gold or silver. That's just what we've been taught, what I've been
Hmm.
taught, and I'm going
Well, these
to
are far more worthy.
agreed.
Oh, yeah. You can buy them, but you can't buy their wisdom. Can work with it.
Right, and it helps to have definitely a quantum link and a little bit of awareness
Hmm.
because like any they call those divination tools like
Yes.
any divination tools it's not the tool it's the person using the tool that is a language it is a lens for something to focus through so you can interpret what you're and it opens a door in your head in your spirit right
Right.
to where you get information and you have something of a guide to help you interpret it but I'm getting
Right. Well, your reader is reading a deck of cards for you, but
mhm,
the cards are for your visualization, not for the readers.
right.
Now that's a hard concept for a lot of people that the reader is only the bearer of the message.
Hmm.
Their interpretation is not the end all. I mean, if something comes to you while you're getting a reading and you see it as one direction and your reader sees it as another, chances are your interpretation's correct one.
Hmm.
And that's a very difficult concept.
Yeah.
The reader is not the end all. I'm going to have readers who absolutely hate my guts for this, but they can only work with what they see.
Hmm.
You're watching what they're doing and what their cards are meaning to you, and what you see there is important as well.
Right. Okay. For the audience who's not familiar, these are runestone ingots. Just a little rock or a little piece of wood or something you can make it out of.
Play
And
tiles.
you carve these things onto them, right?
Hmm.
These are the runes. This is what she meant. And this is the typical North American way of doing it. Because runestones, these are based on throwing sticks down. And then you throw the staves down
Hmm.
on the ground. And then you let yourself see patterns, these patterns that are on these stones and pieces in the crisscrossing of the staves, right? They
Hmm.
could be now, these are divination tools, right? Old school, you can use chopsticks, straight sticks, arrows, whatever,
Yeah, simple
hair,
straws.
yeah, drinking straws, whatever
Yeah.
works for you, whatever you have on hand. But this is something, these are things that are sets for sale, right?
Hmm.
And these are like, that's how I got started. Just something told me to buy that little book, right?
Yeah.
And it
Right.
came with a set of runestones made of like terracotta. It was like hard clay, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Sure.
terracotta, hard clay. It was, there
I
was,
have a set that are actually made from lapis lazuli
hmm
and or lazuli if you like that word better.
I'm sorry
And
about that.
that's fine. Lapis lazuli, of course, the kind of stonework that you use can also be
hmm
part of your reading. And I like what Derek said. It's good to know the difference between an actual reader and a grifter. One of the first
Right,
things a
right,
grifter is going to do is get you reeled in. He's going to ask for a small amount of money, give you a base reading, and then say, "Oh, I'm too tired," or "Oh, I can't go on," or
right.
they will
The
make
spirits
excuse.
have stopped speaking to
Oh,
me.
yes, indeed.
Yeah.
And at that point, they will ask you to come back. They
hmm
often will raise their price,
Yeah,
you
that's.
know, and now they've had an opportunity to look you up. I've had this happen to me.
hmm
Um, I had a lady that wanted to show what she could do on my show when we were doing radio, and I had a dupe Facebook account up that was wide open. Anybody could look at that. They'd also get all sorts of wrong information. And she apparently went there, got got what she thought was good information on me and started using it. Gave me a whole
hmm
reading. It was marvelous, wonderful, swell. That's another word for BS in my household.
hmm
And I I told her that I was sorry, but she had gotten back to me a little late, and my dance card was all full up. I absolutely refused to have her on. I was nice to her, but I was not pliable,
Right.
and sent her on her merry way. Well, she did fool some others that I knew, but you know, I am I put it out there for just that sort of emergency.
hmm
I
Yeah,
probably would have
there's.
been able to tell anyway, but still, you know,
Right.
it's good to have confirmation. I
Yeah.
didn't like how fast she was moving on us. And that's another way of telling a grifter. They move fast. They make sure you don't have time to think or time
hmm
to consider or ask other people. And this is whether it's a reader, a used car salesman, or real estate in Florida. You know,
oh yeah,
that's how they
that's
operate.
everything. Yeah. I had something.
You're welcome, Justin.
Yeah. I had something I wanted to say, but I did a well old story, right? When I just started with the Coven, and I started with Joe in the I think it was still the first bookstore that I knew him on Dyer, right?
Yeah, you were there ahead of us.
I think it was the one on Dyer. I'm pretty sure it was. But we had a kind of psychic fair one day. It was just readers available. And it
Hmm.
was me and do you remember Amy?
Yes, I
Me
do.
and her. It was me and her and Joe. And
I met Amy late after she had moved.
okay, it was it was it was us three. And
Hmm.
this lady came in and she was wanting a reading from Joe, tarot reading. And I was like, okay, well, he'll be free in a few minutes. He's with one person right now. So she was, and Joe says, hey, while I'm doing this, why don't you give her a room reading? And I was deep into it at the time. I
Hmm.
was heavy into it at the time. And okay, she did not. Okay, now Joe could barely hear me. Plus, he was concentrating on his own reading. Right. He was in the. There was another room that he was in, and though I wasn't speaking super loud, I wasn't being real quiet, and I could barely hear Joe talking in there either. So I was giving her a reading, and I got this back, that back, whatever. I don't even remember the reading. And the lady was not happy with it, right? She was not happy with it. And I was saying these certain things. And what I do remember is there's some irresponsibility, there's some childishness, and some selfishness. I think I remember that much, but it was a bigger reading. It was a full spread. It wasn't a three rune pull. It was a full spread, right? And she did not like it, and she acted very annoyed. And I was like, "Hey, that's okay. I could be totally off the mark. This was only for while you wait." So she was like, "Yeah, okay." And yeah,
Karen
right.
didn't like it, huh?
No. And then Joe comes over. Now, he did not hear my reading.
No,
Okay. He
he
was
wasn't
busy.
fully engaged with the other person.
Right. And he started asking me, Nathan, did you get childishness, selfishness, and immaturity? I'm like, as a matter of fact, I did, and walked away. I was not wanting to be involved in my reading was done, and I was out of this little quantum loop at the moment. It was his. So I left. I was like, and
Yeah,
I didn't
I
hear the
need
rest of it.
Dr. Pepper after that one.
Yeah, I was like, oh, really? So the readings came out very similar, huh? Very similar, you think? And
Oh boy.
yeah, I don't think the lady was very happy with that, but that's what her two independent people told her, right? And I was shocked that Joe was coming up with anything like mine because,
They will often come up
yeah,
together.
and that's
And
speaking of grifters,
and
grifters,
I don't just mean, at that moment. I mean, they can go from one reader across town to another one
right,
if they're good and if they're honest, because
right,
sometimes they're not. You
right, and
get
you
a
can,
full reading that's just happy, joy, joy. Be concerned, you know.
right, exactly. And the fact that, uh, okay, and what was being said about grifters, right?
Yes.
When you get a grifter, the readings are going to be totally random because they are not
They're not
reading
doing.
you in they're not doing it really, they're putting on a show. And if you do two rune readings back to back, right, if I it's uh
It's best
and they're
not to
both
tease the guides that way either.
right, and it doesn't, grifters will come up with totally if you go from grifter to grifter, it's going to be nothing like the other one. But if you go
Mhm.
from the real thing to the real thing, I have found they're going to come up, they're going to kind of align in a lot of key places.
Oh
They'll
yeah,
never be the same, but they will align with each other because
true.
it's just when you're lying, I mean, when you're faking it, you're going with the random numbers. And the odds of you coming up with a true reading using random numbers in one pull, very low, right?
Well, you
But
might
now,
have some psychic ability, and you might be able to wing it some. But
right,
the
but
guides, and I say the guides, the spirits, whoever is there to help that reader read
mhm,
those cards. Um, Once he's told you once or twice what your deal is, he's not talking anymore.
right,
That's my
that
experience with it.
that door will. It's been that. That's a good point. I guess I don't know. I would have got to that point later,
I'm sure you would.
eventually. But if you keep asking, it's going to peter off, and it's going to be
Well,
like,
you
hey, you've gotten your answer. Take it and leave, or take it and work with it. Stop asking for embellishments
Yeah, it's like
and
your
extra
basic
stuff.
12-year-old asking to drive the family car. The answer is no. it's gonna be no.
Right,
And
right.
if dad tells you yes, when mom finds out, it's gonna be no.
Hmm. Right. And but if it's a grifter doing the reading, you're going to get, okay, for random numbers to come up with something, you don't do one or two examples. You do 100, 1,000 examples. And you have this thing called a random number generator, electronic, digital. It comes up with it's a dice roller program, right? You set your values, you set your number of digits, and like it's 1 to 12, right? If you have a random number from 1 to 12, how often will a 3 come up, right? Now,
Right.
generally, the theory is it's going to come up 50% of the time, just like every other number, 50% of the time. However, when you are not a now, when you're using that same type of generation and you're using something like Randonautica, okay,
Hmm.
you're inserting. Are you familiar with Randonautica?
No, I'm sorry, I'm not.
Okay, this is cool. This is when
Just
it came out.
waiting. Okay.
Made a big splash like 3 years ago, right?
Okay.
Okay, what it is it's an app for your phone. It uses random number generation, not on your phone, right? It
Uh huh.
uses it in, okay, I think I remember this right. It uses a laser that is going through some kind of medium that splits it in a random direction,
Uh huh.
and it hits a certain mirror and always bounces back, but all the mirrors are different. They're different somehow, right?
It's like a
And
roulette wheel.
right, but it's based on a laser going through a medium like cooled, uh what's it, helium or something. I don't know, I can't remember. And it's in a university lab, and this thing is constantly spitting out random results,
Uh huh.
okay? And your app goes as you ask it. You put in keywords, you do a search, you say, you can flavor the intention, okay? And it's really interesting because it's both quantum and also self-fulfilling prophecy,
Hmm.
right? You put in, now if you're looking for something happy, you put in a happy place near water or something, right? Now, your happy place near water, it will and you set a distance how you want to travel up to, I think it's like a mile away or 10 miles away or
Uh
something
huh.
like that. And it goes through its random number generator and picks a random location and finds on like Apple Maps or Google Maps what's in that area, that is, and it says these coordinates, and you can hit go to these coordinates, and it will open up your maps thing on your phone and give you driving directions to these coordinates, right? And now there is random number generation happening, but you're also looking for something specific. So when you think of that, there's a few things. This is where the quantum link comes in and why it
Hmm.
piqued my interest, because you are asking reality to show you something based on this criteria. And reality never says no. Okay. That's
Universe's favorite
manifestation.
words are yes.
Right. So it, now let's say happy place near water.
Hmm.
Now that could mean a variety of things, especially if you're not near an ocean or lake. And let's just pull something out of the air. A sleepy dog near his water bowl. That's a happy place near water.
As long
Okay?
as he's not inside it, it is.
Right. A sleepy dog that has just had a drink of water. He's happy about it. He's near water. Happy place near water. Or it could be a rainy day and some kids playing in a puddle, and there it is. Happy place near water. or it could also be like, your dream resort on the side of a beach, happy place near water. And that is both self-fulfilling prophecy. Uh-oh. Hey, Shadow.
Howdy, folks.
Hi.
Hey.
Hey, Grandma. Dorothy. Who else we got in here tonight? Justin.
I think you
All
just missed
people.
Grandma. She took off.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
sorry.
she's out now.
She was hanging out in my show earlier, as was Justin.
Right. We were just how'd your show go, Shadow?
It was really good. It was a lot of fun. A lot of good people in there, and it was good. It was good. How about you guys?
Good
You having
deal.
a good week?
Yeah, I had a pretty decent week overall.
I'm not really bringing up the bad stuff. There was a lot of bad stuff, but
Oh, I'm
it was
sorry.
all
Sorry.
interpersonal relationship stupidity. So that's why I'm not bringing it
that
up.
was a big problem this week, astrologically as well as personally. It just
Yesterday,
seems like you could not. For me personally, I couldn't say boo and not have somebody look at me and call me a complete flake and I'm crazy and you know
mhm.
what I'm saying? It's like, what did I
Yesterday,
do? You know?
I saw so many people who I know in this area of thought, the weirdness, the weirdness of thought, right, that we do here.
Mhm.
Okay, YouTube channels and Facebook groups, people in real life, everybody had some kind of emotional meltdown
Mhm.
of one kind or another. There was arguing and um, name calling and people getting blocked on YouTube, people getting blasted on Facebook. So much of that, more than normal. And I was like, and in my own interpersonal relationships too,
I saw a lot of it.
I refuse to engage, right?
Did it
That's
have
the right
So
anything
way
to
to
do with
deal.
Did it have anything to do with the previous week's topics? Type of newsworthy events?
No,
oh no, the
nothing.
alien stuff, no.
Oh, okay.
You
And
talk about
hey, Cindy. She gave me a new nickname. Um, I thought that might have been it because there were some tempers I noticed with
oh
the
well, that was part of it.
whistleblower. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was part of it. I saw that's one part of it, but I'm talking like everybody can watch them and not be a part of it, but I was a part of it. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah.
And
Sorry about
they had all this anger and frustration and fear-based stuff
Yeah.
happening. Um
Well, there's bound to be with this sort of thing that they're releasing right now.
mhm.
No,
Oh
and
yeah.
as
Oh.
far as the stuff we were
I'm not
discussing
sure what
last
Justin was
week,
talking about here. Were
well,
you just
I'm
asked? Was he
thinking.
one of them?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Say
What?
again.
Justin asked if he one of them. I'm not sure if he's talking about my show or the stuff that went on last week.
I think he
Uh
was talking about some sort of goings on in another show,
yeah, it
Could
was
have been
two
wrong.
other
and
shows.
I think he's also.
Nothing you No, Justin, you weren't involved in these things I saw, right? It was two other YouTube shows, a Facebook group, and my real life, right?
Mhm.
So all that stuff was going on, and stuff like that doesn't just instantly stop. They're always aftershocks, and they're
Mm-hmm.
still happening
True.
too,
True.
right? Um, Justin is saying no, your show, Shadow.
Yeah, he was
I don't
great
know what he's
on
talking about.
Yeah, he was on my
Okay,
show
well,
tonight.
but that was my week. Okay, that was my
It
week.
just
I
didn't
noticed.
matter what we were trying to do. It was like Mercury retrograde on steroids.
Mm.
And
I
Yeah,
had a
it
really
was.
wonderful week, to be honest. I
I'm glad.
good.
I must have dodged that bullet. Maybe you can enlighten me later after the show a little. Um, So did anything good happen this week to you guys?
I got a new
Ran-
chair.
Random Starseed encounter.
Yeah.
That random. Let me tell you, Shadow. It was okay, Mr. Investigator. You can notice people's moods. Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, you can see when someone is agitated or in a really good mood,
Mhm.
hiding something, presenting something. You can tell these things, right?
Yeah, yeah, with
Okay,
fairly reasonable, accuracy.
okay. I'm trying to liken this experience I had. Let me just go over it real quick. I went to Kroger grocery store, and the girl bagging the groceries was positively radiant. She was not super pretty. There was nothing in her clothes, makeup, face, nothing that said supermodel. Okay, nothing. She was normal person, but she was just glowing, and I couldn't figure out why. But I could just tell, and it was here. It was that spidey sense telling me she's bright, right? And then she bagged the groceries, and I was like, "Hey, excuse me, have you ever heard of this term star child or starseed?" And she goes, "Yes, but I don't really know what it means." I'm like, "I think you're one." And I started walking out the door. Real quick, she Googled it in Shadow. Her the bright that she was exploded into brighter, but it wasn't hurtful. It wasn't hard to look at. Who we got? Other star seed. Hey, yeah, you're
Sorry, I was
one.
muted.
What are you
Hello?
wearing? What is that thing?
A cross.
With
It's a
wings.
cross. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a very large one.
My screen is tiny. I can't really see. I can't really tell what it is. Cool. Well, hi. Thanks for making a guest pop-in appearance on the Quantum Show.
Yeah, I'm just here to deliver water, and he doesn't want my water.
No, I've got,
Well, that's a
I've
trip.
got,
That's kind of
yeah.
arrogant not wanting the water.
I've got 3 already.
Oh, okay.
He brought me 7. I've got 3.
No, I brought
Well,
a delivery of water. Okay.
yeah.
All right.
It's really hot here. I got the fan on, and I've already done, 2+ hours on the previous show, so
It's hot.
I got
I
to stay
get you.
hydrated. Yeah.
Right.
Alright,
Stick
well,
them in the quantum fridge.
yes. Alright, well, goodbye.
Love you, sport. I'll see you.
See you later, Jack.
See ya.
Take the water, slacker. Freaking Justin.
He just don't want to pick you up off the floor. Lazy.
Thanks,
Right.
he's an incredible kid. Yeah, he doesn't know or buy into the Starseed thing, but
That's
I'm
okay.
gonna have a little talk with him about it. He knows he's above average. Let's just go with that. Not give him a swelled head when he looks back on this video. Weeks or months from now.
They come to their understanding in their own time, and trying
Yeah.
to force it isn't gonna help.
Right.
Right.
My
But,
kid was well in his 30s before he started embracing his gifts.
Yeah, I've got people much older than I am saying, "I'm just learning this."
Yeah.
And like, I've been doing this stuff, and I'm still the new guy, right? 25 years now. I looked back, and I was like, "Wow, I've been doing this stuff for 25 years." These people think I'm an authority. I'm like, I'm more new than I have ever been because it only pops up with more questions. And I mean,
I'll
really,
tell
I'm
you, I
not.
thought I might be getting a handle on it when I was about 40 myself. And
Right.
I know what I'm talking about now, pretty much, I think. But the rest of it, I don't know.
I got
Some things are brand new every time they happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like having uh had a good circle, had some little bit of divination, some of the rest of it, and holy cow, it worked. You know, I love
Yep.
that. And it feels brand new to me every time it happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Because
I was told all my life I was completely crazy about every part of it, and I'm not crazy at all.
mm-mm, mm-mm, no, because reality is weirder than we can perceive normally. And I am
What is
so I
reality? We make each of us make our own reality. Every choice we make, every deal,
Truth is stranger than
every
fiction, folks.
yeah,
yep. And what's the word? What's the word for that? I think it's quantum.
yeah.
Dream close up.
um, but
Party up,
yeah,
bro.
and okay, that happened. That girl just and I was like, oh wow, I hope I made her happier uh, than not knowing,
You
right?
gave her
Than this,
something to think about.
right? And I hope she takes the ball and runs with it and learns about the stuff because she was okay. Like I said,
Those
there was
guys are
nothing.
more powerful than anybody, you know,
Hmm.
because they
And
literally have all of that energy.
yeah, and it's. I've looked at lots of people who claim to be star children and star seeds. Okay, and some I've run across, they don't claim it, but they have all the qualities that I am become familiar with, right?
Hmm.
There are some attributes. Their eyes all seem bigger, not monstrously so, but just a little bit bigger. Like their
Like they
eyes are a little
hardly
bit
can
bigger.
see enough to satisfy them.
Right. And their eyes are always wide. Their eyes are always very wide open, not like bug eyed, but still
Not AOC
like
crazy eye, but
No,
right. Just the
interesting.
natural
well,
resting position
um,
is
one of
is
the key giveaways with the things I do, when a person's eyes get wide, a certain configuration, let's say, that's an indicator of basically they're happy to see what they're seeing.
right.
So that's one of the things we look for, and makes perfect sense.
Right. And this was not,
Yeah.
I mean, in a resting normal position, their eyes seem to be wider and slightly larger, right? Not not monstrously so, but just like you see my face, you see my
Mhm.
all of us here right now.
Hmm.
We don't really have that feature. They
Oh
seem
no,
to.
everybody thinks I'm stoned all the time because I squint all the time, but that's from something else. Well, other things. Let's put it that way.
Gotcha.
We're not
Um,
talking about that today.
right.
No, 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 no. But it's hard for me to actually do that. Maybe because I have a lot of cynicism still left over. Um,
Right.
but I can't. I
Right.
literally
Right.
can't like do
Can
that shit.
somebody get the
Excuse my
volume
French.
up over here? Thank you.
Hey Frank.
Hmm.
I've got a lamp over
But
here that is just
hey
blinding
Frank.
me. And with my own glasses, it's blinding me. So I can't imagine what anybody else thinks.
Right.
But Frank looked up our guy last week every which way he could and stonewalled in every direction. I think you've got a handful of information and not much else. And much of it still the same
You'll have to
information we had to
refresh my
start with.
memory.
The kiddo in Nevada, the aliens in the backyard.
Oh, that guy.
Mhm.
Yeah. He has pretty
Yeah,
much gone dark. Okay.
yes, he
He did
has.
form
And
a second small, he formed a second small channel. And he said, a lot of you, the news is a lie. Everything on TV is fake. They say we've been abducted. We haven't. And they're being surveilled. Okay, other people have gone through and checked different sources and gone to the ufology side and said all the letter agencies are there. There are cameras already installed. All the gray vans are rolling around, and everybody is being watched. So if
Mhm.
it's fake, that wouldn't have happened. Okay, if
That's
it was
right.
fake, all that one guy would have showed up, the or two, and the report would have filtered out. This is a hoax. It didn't happen, right?
That's not
So,
happening. And
right,
what
and
he's saying about it going dark, I think it's not his choice for it to go dark. I think
right,
that
I was getting to
it is,
that.
yeah, I'm sorry.
He's
Okay.
being he's being made to be quiet, right? He had to start a different channel and put out there. He said, uh, everything on the news is a lie. TV is all fake. Everything you've heard is probably a lie. And he said something like, all you people have depression. I've been having anxiety attacks because the world has focused on him, right? Or him. The world has focused on him. And that's a lot of pressure for just some kid living at home, right? He's not a YouTuber. He makes he made a couple of gaming videos on his channel. He made nothing about aliens, nothing about anything of this nature. Okay,
Hmm.
it was all blog stuff, TikTok style. This is what I'm eating types. Nothing about that was the first one, and that was the last one. And then he had to make another channel. His channel is still there where the video is, but there's one video on it. And he made a short, and I found it randomly that he said, so everybody just forget about it. Bye. End. And he's in trouble, right? He's under stress, duress, all that.
Well, and
It's
it's
been
not
talked
just
about.
that. When you have that sort of encounter and it scares the hell out of you,
Yeah.
you are going to have depression, anxiety, um, a real fear of it happening again before you've
Yeah.
even coped with it happening the first time.
Right. And
Um,
all those people
all
coming
those
around.
things,
And all those
and
people coming
strangers
around.
peeking in your damn windows, which
Right.
should freak out the most mundane of us.
Mm-hmm. Like I've talked about it, and like this place that I'm at, the cemetery back there,
Hmm.
I don't want it to get out that it's the way it is to the general public. I ain't gonna be selling tickets, right?
Hmm.
I ain't gonna be putting up things. Come see the ghosts. No, that's not happening because this is a state park monument, right? It's protected. And I don't want
It's
that kind of
protected in
attention.
more than one way.
Yeah,
It really
four
is.
guys showed up. Those four guys showed up, and I'm like, okay, I will stay right here. It said you stay right here, hand in my face and everything. And I was like, okay, I'll stay right here, and I did. And
You
whew,
know,
whew,
when things happen out of our control, and I mean serious stuff like 8-foot aliens in your backyard,
mhm.
and you haven't had any weed in a couple of weeks, now there's a problem,
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
even if you have, I mean, the average person who does have that stuff usually doesn't have those kind of hallucinations.
right. They're
But
usually it's like
they're real mellow, and it just doesn't happen.
right.
So you accusing him of drug abuse, that's just rude.
Oh,
You know,
was that brought up?
uh,
Did somebody say that?
that was somebody that we were talking to just around here. You know, said all the crazy, blah blah, and I'm like,
Ah,
okay,
well,
I let
yeah,
people say whatever they want to say. It's
yeah,
not worth
uh,
arguing about.
yeah, I feel for that kid, because
Hmm.
He did the best he could to report what he saw. But this is a good example of us not being ready for disclosure.
Right.
Okay, look at what happened to this poor guy, right? He was trying to run a blog channel, be popular, get TikTok famous, and now what? He's got anxiety attacks.
Holy crap, all this crap happened in my backyard. I guess, man, all I'm trying to do is have
Yeah,
barbecue.
and
You know?
it's not the aliens harassing me; it's the humans. It's my neighbors. It's the news. Why don't they go find the aliens? You know, that's what I would say. You go find the aliens. Don't talk to me. Figure it out, news reporter.
I would say
But
before
okay,
this is all said and done, this poor kid and his family are probably going to have to move because they're not going to be able to
yeah,
handle the
yeah,
harassment, whether it's people
yeah. Somebody
who
found
believe them or not.
right. So they were doxxed, right? That means their personal information was put out there, where to physically drive up to their house, and
Hmm.
that led every local UFO guy, Bigfoot guy, alien guy, all of them were driving by their house slow with cameras like this, you know, and that's not nice at all. That's not nice at all. And
It
okay,
wasn't
Justin's
the
in there
picture.
saying,
It wasn't the picture he thought he'd get.
nah.
No, he
Justin's saying,
doesn't
I
feel
personally
it's
don't
real.
think it was real. Yeah, but it's my opinion. Okay, Justin, you don't have to think it's real. Your opinion is just as quantum as my opinion
Yeah.
and anyone's opinion,
Well,
and
like I
as
said,
Anybody have
it's
it?
valid.
all secondhand to us. We're just forming opinions all over the place without any information.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
I
Yeah,
personally, I need more information. I could see it being either way, except for the fact that um, it was a one-off. No one else has, come forward, seen anything. There haven't been more sightings. And what bothers me is that this actually happened around, May, but it didn't come on the news until June. It was like May
yeah.
1st or
Funny that.
4th.
Yeah, funny that too. The timing of it being pushed to the mainstream. My first question was, who greenlit this story? Where's the Associated Press? That was my first question.
right?
And who greenlit this? Because let
We
me tell
couldn't
you,
find it.
UFO, sightings happen all the time. Not
Exactly.
hardly any of them are taken serious. Why was
Not
this
even
one
not even
greenlit?
1%. Not even
Yeah,
1%
who pushed
get
it?
get
Why did
get
why did it
mainstream.
make it to the mainstream?
Well,
How
it
did
was a
that one make it to the
handy.
mainstream? Yeah, he's in backwoods Las Vegas or Nevada, right? Yeah, Nevada. He's in backwoods. That's backwoods. Okay, that's not on the strip. That's
Mhm.
urban
Out in
area.
And
suburbia,
It's out
the other
out of
the
way
town.
other
out.
It's
the other part about the timing is it also came out when a whole bunch of, well, two specific massive issues or stories broke at the same time, and then they dropped this one in our lap. So it's like, okay, we got the left, we got the right. Now here's something for the guys in the middle.
right. And
So
look over
it,
here.
it, it
Don't look over there. Distraction. Distraction.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's been
I
my point right along.
I found a video, right? And it's this guy. He's a comedian and he makes fun of politics. He
Hmm.
makes fun of this stuff using comedy. And he's the dude with the red hair, and he's like a weightlifter or something. He's not a bodybuilder. He just is in really
Carrot
good
Top,
shape. And
Carrot
huh?
Top,
No, no, no,
Carrot Top.
no. He's young, not Carrot Top.
Oh, okay. Because Carrot
No,
Top
he's
did the same thing too.
yeah, but this guy is I'll get his username right now. Oh, what is this going on? I'll get his username right now. Uh, wrong button. I'm pushing buttons. Pushing buttons. I just watched it recently, and it was like all this political stuff going on. It's like the FBI talking.
Hmm.
All this political stuff going on, and oh, also aliens. Don't look at
Well,
all this
Not
other stuff.
not
not to
that, not
mention
just
it.
that, but
Not to
that.
mention it had the usual, I want to say 48-hour window of it being, kind of on different news channels, smaller and smaller and smaller, and then gone. Nobody's talking about it anymore, except
Yeah.
folks like us.
The channel is Awaken with JP. He's hilarious, but
Oh
he's
yeah.
like
I watch them all the time.
that guy.
Okay, I'll
He's.
have to find that.
I'll get a link. I'll put a
I
link.
would say there was a number of very important things happening about that time that
Two major.
between them coming to some sort of debt agreement and national debt agreement and a certain party in Russia with a itchy trigger finger and another
I was
certain
talking about
party
either of
in
those.
Ukraine
The,
about
the bigger stories were
these were all
between
happening,
the current president and the former president.
and
There were
that's
two
That's what I
separate.
was thinking too.
but there's a lot of different things they would rather we just didn't think about and discuss.
Hmm.
Right.
It's like most grifters keep you so upset and wildly thinking that you're not thinking straight. They've learned that
Oversaturation.
well.
Yeah, the term is oversaturation, overstimulation of information.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, that's you can look it up. I'm not making shit up.
I know.
I'm not making it up.
I'm not saying that you are. You're right, and the reason I was doing that was because most Americans have a certain level of tolerance and distractibility, but they also have a certain amount of focus, and if you can disrupt that,
Right.
then you've got you can slide in anything you want to.
Hmm.
And they certainly want to. There's a whole lot of things they don't want us focusing on, and
Yeah.
it's weird because I would love to see some sort of breakdown in population numbers of who, I know we can't get accurate numbers from polling and things like that, but where people stand in different subjects.
Yeah.
This being one of them. It's whenever we do hear a poll, it's skewed one way or the other.
Hmm.
Whether
Depending
it's
on who's presenting it.
right,
know,
who's asking
if
the
you get
question.
True.
It's like the line, it doesn't matter who votes, it matters who counts the votes. So this is another case of that. It's not a matter of what people think.
They've learned how
who's
to
asking
make
the
numbers say
question.
anything they want to.
Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
for quite some time.
Let's not get into all that. Okay.
No,
Absolutely right.
That's
I'm trying to gear toward the actual topic. I've heard a lot of polls where 60-ish% of the population believe in aliens. At what point do the numbers warrant some actual truth? When everybody
Mhm.
believes, okay, cool. Okay, we got to 98%. Is that enough? What number are they shooting for? Because at 65, 73%, I'm pretty confident the world isn't going to freaking explode if they tell us what's really going on.
right. Yeah, and how many people are answering? 65% of 1,000, 1,000,000,
Right.
10 million.
Who knows?
What's? I mean, there's two. I mean, the context is not being disclosed, so it's like 60. Okay,
Right.
we asked 10 people in New York this question, and this many said this, and it's like
not a cross reference.
that's
Not
no.
cross-
I mean, what?
Therefore, 85% of the country believes this.
Right. Like, I mean, I don't trust that for whose coffee is best on the same street, much less actual things
Important
to do
issue.
with reality. I trust us more than I trust them. Right? We're so in tune with reality. We have multiple levels. It's quantum.
No, I agree with Shadow on that. you can make those numbers say any way you want to say them.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And I think that's not the issue. I was talking to Raven about it. Even if the number was 100%, they don't want us leaving. If we all could leave right now and go to another planet, you know how massive a number of the population would leave? Have you guys ever thought of how many people would be like, what? I can go on a spaceship and leave and you know, do all the things, go out in space and blah, 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 and, you know,
Yeah.
explore and stuff. They wouldn't let you. They wouldn't let you go.
No.
Right.
If the aliens said, hey, we're taking volunteers,
Oh,
they'd be
that
like,
won't
no, you're not.
happen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they,
that won't happen.
That
You
means
got
that means an adult paying taxpayer is leaving
exactly.
with the taxpayer, the
right,
next generation of his children. They can't be enthralled anymore.
right. They're not
And
going to be there.
you know,
They're not going to be.
oh heck, we can't have this stuff. You know.
Yeah, you can't give the cows freedom. We need their milk.
Exactly.
Right. Which
You know?
means we need to change that paradigm or it will never happen. We
Right,
will
and
never
that's
get
what
the truth.
that's what I'm trying to do every day on or off YouTube is walking up to a bagger going, "You're a star child," and she suddenly realizes it. That's awesome, you know? Like a random comment to someone like that. I mean, I don't do that without cause. I mean, I don't.
No, I do,
I
but in different ways, but I know what you mean.
right.
I
I
do.
I'm
mean,
not going to
I'm
tell
I
somebody
talk to
back.
people.
yeah.
I
I don't.
walked up to an old fella day before yesterday on a grocery trip, and well, actually, he walked up to me and he said something to me about I looked happy. I was I was happy. I had the eggs in my carton for a decent price for a change.
I know,
And
right?
yeah,
I did that
seriously.
today too. I was like blown away. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. This dozen of eggs is not not only less than $10. It's less than $5. It's $3.
Yeah,
Why can't we do
yeah,
that with everything? I know we
yeah,
can.
yeah. We
Why can't
can.
we
yeah.
just,
But we
good for
had
you,
a
Well,
Cindy. Good for you.
conversation. We had a
Pure blood.
conversation, and this gentleman took took probably 5 minutes of my time, probably no more than
Okay,
that. But
Edgar, if you say
first person
pancakes,
he
I'm going to
talked
read
to all
through this
week.
and just,
Sorry,
sorry. Edgar says he's at IHOP. Guess what he's having?
bacon and eggs.
pancakes and coffee.
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
I'm on a diet and bread is verboten.
Mm,
Yeah, we're gonna have to stop the coffee. No, we can't do that. Nathan will have
mm-mm.
us. But no, it's probably the first time that poor old fella had talked to anybody in a week. And you know, too many small areas of our population are being isolated badly. And
Yeah.
I'm not just talking about kids or housewives who don't get out for anything but their grocery trip, but the elderly are stuck. There's we say we're back to normal. We don't know what normal is anymore.
Oh, I was talking to somebody and they were talking about normal, and I said normal is acceptably messed up. Normal is comfortably messed up
Hmm.
for now. That's
Means
normal.
your Netflix is working again and you're allowed to go to the grocery store.
Yeah,
Whoop-de-doo.
you know, and I didn't care when they locked us down. Our lives, mine and Frank's life, did not change.
Same here.
Think about that. It didn't change. We were still doing
Well,
the things
I
that we
can't
do.
say that.
I mean,
Jackie, my son and I, our life actually got better
yes,
because of the channel and meeting guys like you. But the other things, you know, riding the bike, getting to associate with his friends and schoolmates and stuff like that. I kid you not, every kid in school right now is actually bummed that they get to go on summer vacation right now. Every kid I've spoken to wishes they were still in school. Why? Because I don't know about you guys, but when I was a kid, I would have done anything to get out of school. But as soon as you take that away, it becomes the most important thing in the world. And for
Maybe
all
we
those
should
little
have done
kids,
it sooner. I don't know, but it's
and
left the
his
kids
grades went
seriously
from
behind.
his grades went from pre-COVID or during lockdown from B's and C's and maybe even some D's and F's to
Hmm.
straight A's this last year, straight freaking A's.
You know why?
So
He learned
maybe
how to
that reverse like
concentrate. He learned how to be alone.
well, no, because during COVID, his online classes were crap. He got an A in PE, but failed subjects that he's good at. Okay, but going back to school, he was supercharged with the energy to do as good as he could, to learn as much as he could, because subconsciously, I think he was worried that who knows when I'm going to get, they're going to lock us down again.
Yes, yes.
Oh, there's
Uh,
a whole mindset there.
there's
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 a
not just
whole.
that though. I've got three little kids. Well, two little kids and a preteen grandkids that had same situation, had to go online school, and gosh, their ability at their age is behind at least a year and a half, at least that much, and so I'll
For
catch up.
absolutely for most of them, uh,
Yeah,
Jackie being an exception, uh, they're going to be. I don't even think it's like a year or something like that. I think it's a more profound, more subtle loss. It's like PTSD. They're always going to worry now about
Yeah.
things. I was out today. Perfect example. I was out today shopping, and I bumped into a mother and son. The son was in his, I'm going to say between 22 and 30, right? And the mom was, whatever, right? He was wearing a mask that went from here to here. I mean, the full neck thing, and she's out there living her life, loving it. And that's exactly what they wanted, was to mess with certain people's mindset, whereas the older, wiser folks are like, screw that shit. I'm not doing it. Again, excuse my French.
precisely. No, you're
And
absolutely
That's
right.
me.
I
and good for all those folks that ripped off the muzzle and went back to being human instead of chattel. Good for you
uh,
guys. Now if you're immunocompromised or have some other issue, sorry to hear it. But that vitamin D that they didn't want us to have,
yeah, well,
Hmm.
we
go get you
doubled up
some.
on ours.
There's a whole bunch of free vitamin D out coming up about 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. I highly recommend you get you some.
uh, we uh, we had a certain mindset towards many of our routines. Uh, Staying well is a routine here, and it's a mindful thing. And our
See you next week, Dorothy.
consumption of vitamin D was very much disparaged by our GP, and she said, "I want you to stop it right now." And I said, "One in one hand, and guess what in the other, and see which one fills first." And she goes, "Why won't you listen to good advice?" I said, "Because it's not good. It's you're parroting."
What possible explanation could a physician give for lowering your vitamin D
I
intake?
was saturated. Gee, you think? You know that the
Okay.
labs showed that I had a lot of vitamin D on board, and a number of other vitamins. Yes, I'm immune
Did
compromised. That's ridiculous to tell me to back off.
Did the
But
entire medical industry just turn evil over the course of a year and a half?
I don't think
They
so. They
are
turned
bought and paid
indoctrinated.
for.
Indoctrinated. A new
Indoctrinated,
doctor.
also bought and paid for.
I'll tell you,
Yeah.
good. A new doctor has to carry around a computer with them at one of our hospitals here locally. They have to have it. They have to feed that thing information about who they're treating, why, and what's going on, and that computer tells them what to say next. And
Mm-hmm.
I know that for a fact. I can
Yep.
prove it.
I have witnessed this at my local hospital. When I
Mhm.
go to the doctor, for whatever reason, I see they have scripts that they have to follow, procedures that they have to follow. Not, and when I ask for something, it depends on the doctor, right? When I ask for something off script,
Mhm.
they're very, like, the first doctor didn't
They're
even want to do
nervous.
it.
Well,
Didn't
I
want to do
told
it.
her we
Like,
had the same conversation. I told her, I said, yeah, I want you to close the computer. She closed it. I said, is it off? She goes, yes. I said, show me. It's off. Okay. I said, listen to me. I said, you are being indoctrinated and told how to doctor. You've been a doctor for 10 years. You don't need this. What is going on? And
mhm,
she told me she's as part of my contract. I have to do it. And I said,
right.
you need to leave here the minute you can. Otherwise, you'll belong to them. I said, they will find a way to tether you not only physically, but emotionally and mindfully. She took my advice. She got out of it. She left. But
Mhm.
that left me without a GP, except for this ding dong that her and her assistant didn't have the first clue about our case. She said she'd have to read it for a month. And I said,
A
knock
month.
yourself out. I'm not coming back.
I
And
mean, I fall asleep if I read more than 10 minutes, and she needs a month.
well, remember,
It's
there's a
not
lot
Moby
more
Dick.
than me there.
I mean, how many hundred pages can this be? I've
I
seen
have a
I've seen the
file.
typeset.
I have a file that is literally 1 foot tall. I have three of them.
Yep.
Okay, that immune compromised thing is no lie. And she says you have a very complicated case. I looked at her. I said, how confused are you? I said, it's very straightforward to me what has to happen. So, I mean, this is a brand new doctor, right new out of school, hasn't got the first clue how to deal with a chronic patient. That scares the hell out of me. you know, and I said, nope, we're not doing it. And the assistant, brand new out of school too, had to be instructed by us how to take a simple blood pressure. Go figure. Boy, that was irritating. Nathan had to go for coffee, I think.
Oh yeah, I haven't been to a doctor in 6 7 years, and I don't ever plan on ever going again.
Don't
I
look forward to it. It's going to be a whole new experience.
yeah I when my mom passed away, she was going through dementia and other things because of a weird oxygen thing, and I'm like, I'm gonna be worse than she was. And
Well,
she
don't
got
call
kicked out
that
of
on
one
yourself.
she got kicked out of one hospital for non-compliance and non-cooperation. Mind you, this was almost 15 years ago, and I'm like, I'm gonna be way worse.
Oh, they're going to love me. They already do. It's we realized what was handling our cases, and we've taken a very proactive uh, stance towards it. I'm Frank and I probably know more about pulmonary arterial hypertension than any basic doctor does, and been able to tell our own physicians, this is what this is, and this is how you have to handle it. You know, what do you get going on? I am
Cindy,
half asleep, but just raised my hand. I like I'm in class. Yeah, I've been speaking. You know, that's funny, Cindy. Vitamin D toxicity will progress to bone pain and kidney problems. You're absolutely correct if you're not using it correctly. Guess who's using it correctly? I am. I firmly believe that the extra vitamin D protected us from getting COVID. And when we did get COVID, made it much more manageable than it would have been. And I can die from something like that easy.
that's funny. I warrant my, or I attribute my complete walking through COVID, like I was made out of Teflon, to my smoking and faith. Lots of
Yeah.
prayer and smoking like a chimney.
See, and I can't smoke. I never have. It's just not my thing, and never has
I mean,
been.
I'll die from lung cancer, but at least it won't be COVID.
What makes you think so?
Well, I
You
mean,
want to hear a real good one? Just on your same deal. Frank's had a cardiologist doing his case, best in the United States, had the credentials to show it. And he turned around and told Frank, "Don't stop smoking. Cut down, but don't stop." Because the body is used to having that
mhm,
and can literally go into shock and seizure if it doesn't
yep.
have it.
I
Nobody
got told the same
mentions
thing.
that. Nobody mentions that. Oh, you must quit.
Cindy, I've
I've
watched it
come.
about 100 times.
Yep.
Oh, The Secret many times. I think
Yep.
The Secret is one of the best books going. I truly
Hmm.
Mhm.
do. I think it.
Yeah,
I think you got to
I
work with it, but you don't
don't
think
worry,
so.
you bastard. Uh, freaking Justin.
They'll add your name to the covert
COVID, COVID,
COVID
COVID
statistic,
statistic.
even if you die from lung cancer. Oh yeah, probably.
Ah. Well, they're gonna have to find my body. I've already made plans, so they can. I'm getting a Viking funeral out in the middle of the desert. Good luck. Good luck with that.
Well, dragging your ship out there is going to be a bitch.
It's just a ship shape made out of rocks.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm going to drag us back on topic now.
Yeah,
Okay,
of course. Yeah. You
we
get
we
your
went
coffee.
on to got coffee. Yeah, I talked about the star seed and that. Now the staying calm part, never really addressed that, right? Okay, you got to stay calm because we all know when you're hot headed, frustrated, aggravated, or any of that kind of thing, um, you're not thinking straight. You're making rash decisions. You're not seeing what's going on, right? And staying calm is so, I saw so much. And it seems like algorithms picked up what I was talking about, listening and everything, and it was showing. I saw this one video of, it was a short on Instagram, like TikTok, right? And it was talking about, when I get mad, I see red and I start throwing hands. Well, and this guy says, this guy, it showed a video of two guys fighting, right? Here's what, okay? It was this big dude He was mad, and he was the one seeing red, throwing hands. And there was this little short guy, and he was a trained fighter. He took the big guy down
Mhm.
because he knows how to fight, and that guy was just acting out of not
I love
using any kind
fighters
of
like
skill.
that.
Right. No kind of skill, no kind of judgment, just Hulk smash.
The
Right.
swing.
Right. And he and the you could tell this guy knew the art of fighting does not end with winning the fight. It wins in ending the fight. It's
Yes.
not. It's not. They taught me that the quickest way to end a fight is to the quickest way to end a fight. Uh, we did pugil sticks, right?
Okay.
In the army.
Yep.
They're like
Sure.
bow stabs, right? Padded bow stabs. And and they
real
showed
fluffy
us
on either end.
right, fluffy like a football. Okay, they're not
Or a
going to
boxing glove. Or a boxing glove.
right.
Mhm.
And they showed us you want to end the fight as quick as possible, not stretch it out and make a show. You're not here to make a show. You're here to end the fight, win, hopefully.
Yes.
And it was a lot of people. They thought they knew what they were doing, but then the trained guys, the drill sergeants, came in, all down, right?
Mhm.
All down. Every kid, short little drill sergeant, taking down 6'7" guys in like 1 or 1.5 blows. Okay,
If it
because
took him that much just to scare him to death and they fainted. You know?
well, these guys thought they had something going on, but the trained fighter was not angry. He was excited, but he was not angry, and he was focused, and he knew what he was doing. He knocked him off balance. He put him down, and he grappled him from the top. No problem. And that guy was wanting to punch and what do they prove a point, teach him a lesson? No, no. The lesson has he knows that lesson, and he taught him that lesson, right? He said, "You don't fight to beat somebody constantly. You fight to win and end it as quick as possible." He took him off balance. He grappled him from the top. 2 moves. And this 6 foot tall guy was taken down by this little dude, right?
Yep.
It don't take. I mean, you big guys, I'm not that trained, but I know enough, and I'm not. The only belt I got is the one I wear on my pants, and it's not one of those belts. It's a regular pants belt, right?
J.C. Penney,
Right.
number 40, $5 special.
Right. It's one of them. It's not an award, a skill level. So you're not going to have to worry about that. There are other things. So just, and that's the importance of staying calm. That's what I learned mostly. Stay calm, stay focused. Don't talk, meet them, drill into them, right? I unfortunately have been in fights, and I don't know how I knew to do this, but this was a schoolyard thing, right? And I had no friends in the crowd. So I was like, I'm gonna focus on you. And I was like, and he was all like, yeah, 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 to his buddies. And I'm like, hey, look here. You're here. Look here. And he looked at me, and I was like, I was ready. I mean, I was ready to get my ass kicked. And he was not. He saw that I was serious, and he like, man, I ain't got time for this. You ain't worth my time. Yeah, okay, all right. Because I took away. I was like, hey, you're right here, and I wasn't. I don't know how I knew to do that. I think I was in the 7th grade or 8th grade, and I don't know how I knew to do that, but I just did it. And
Probably another life taught you that one.
maybe, but I walked away from that one, and there was no skirmish or nothing. But I stayed calm.
Yeah.
And that scares people the most because they don't know what's happening
Yeah.
in your head.
I've had to deal with fights, and you don't talk to them, you lay them out.
You're
Simple as
right.
that. That's all you
Yeah.
can
Well,
do.
that's what
But
I learned that later. Um, and like he was people
the
crowd
army's a
pleasing.
damn fine place to find it out too.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. They won't kill you while they chain you, but they'll train you.
Mm-hmm.
And
It'll make it bad for you. It'll be a bad way to die.
yeah.
Die on your own
And
terms.
yeah, Justin is saying, I learned that lesson quick in my current job. Well, I was joking around in the training room with our chief of security. Guy's probably 5 foot nothing. Yep. Yep. You don't get to be chief of security of anywhere without knowing your stuff. And that's part of the
Just
stuff.
a little bit. And I would say that in most cases, if you can reason your way out of it and walk away, that's a one fight. That's a best one you can
That's a
have.
win. Yeah.
Hmm.
That's a win. And yeah, I didn't
You
mean
look
to
like
bring it over
Gandalf.
to
You know,
we shall
Well,
not
we
pass,
shall not
Linan.
pass. Having a smoke in the garage.
no, I'm out in the patio,
Oh, okay.
but the track
Good
lighting
day.
is right behind me.
Ah.
Yeah, I'm more of a Sauron guy, so
Mhm.
Okay. It just, I was looking at him as he's all alight, and I'm like, wait a minute, when did the Lord of the Rings come in? You
I
know?
usually sit over here. Is that
Yeah,
better?
there you
There you go.
go. You just had a sort of an ethereal glow about you,
Hey,
Yeah, I didn't mean to like let the topic drift onto street fighting. Didn't mean to do that, but it
No,
goes
but it
along with
does. It goes with it.
keep calm
Yeah.
because you can't make good decisions when you're angry, upset, frustrated, etc. Um,
Not
not
possible.
informed ones, and
Or
you got to
scared. Or scared.
or scared. Yeah,
here's the mind
scared
killer.
is. I mean, there's okay. Ray Cindy's saying she's gonna be on in about 15 minutes.
Oh, good.
Okay, I'm trying to work with her on her computer. I forgot to send her a part. Dang it, right? I forgot to send her a part that she needs. And I don't know if she's going to need it or not. It worked on my fixes, so I want to send it to her and get her to apply that. And but yeah, me and Raven have been keeping in good contact. You know,
Hmm.
we've been keeping in good for the most part. I mean, she's busy, I'm busy. What do you do? You know,
Oh,
and
man.
yeah, her computer is down,
Well,
and
she
I'm trying
probably
to.
got something or another chewing on a wire.
It was a crystal kill.
Oh, no.
It was a crystal kill. I was like, yep, because that's something I've been showing her how to do is make them talk, but
Yeah.
you got to be careful. I learned that 2 computers later that you got to be careful on how you make them talk. I don't know exactly what happened, but being quantum, I'm saying, okay, we're not going to use wideband. We're going to go very narrow and steer away from these machines. Okay. And that's what
Hmm.
I'm kind of, yeah, Cindy, that's
We have a very firm rule that if you have your computer, and mine is here in my front room, but no crystals next to computer. Period.
right.
Nothing.
Right. I had
And
made that
we're
mistake.
both crystal people. You know, and we've we've done that where we've complete completely fried our machinery and didn't know why. And then we look and see that, well, there's this crystal ball sitting there. What do you want to know?
Right.
You know, it just wants to play.
Mm-hmm. Mm. But
I'm
yeah,
not good at reading crystal balls. That's not my area of expertise.
I've never.
I
It's
used to
never been
actually,
my
I
thing
used to
either.
actually have a couple of them, and I had some interesting results back in the day. Um, I think I might still have one, but I'll have to. Hey, TCG, uh, I'll have to check and make sure they're not just glass. But
Yeah, it's simple
when
to check.
Raven sends me those crystals, I'm gonna do a full experiment. From a skeptical point of view.
Okay.
Okay, crafting gamer. Here's what can go wrong, and from what
Sorry.
I can tell, here's why. Crystals are natural computing. Okay, they radiate. They use EM frequencies. Okay, if piezoelectric is based on crystal vibration. Okay, you apply a current and it will radiate that current. It will radiate a current. Okay, that's piezoelectric. That's the electronic thing. Now, in this show, we have figured out when you have now it's all crystals do this, but clear quartz is the one you got to be most careful with, right? Because they're what I call all band. They're wide spectrum, right?
Yeah.
They will take anything in the environment and they will change it. And unless you, okay, crafting gamer, you're going to go down the quantum rabbit hole right now. You have to program your crystal to do what you want it to do. It doesn't have a will, but it's active. Okay. It is a computer. Your computer, unless you program it to do something, is not going to do anything until you program it, right? Click a button, write a line of code, etc. With the quantum
Okay.
link, right? With your quantum link, 0 point using the force, okay? Whatever you want to call it, your energies will interact with that crystal. And if you let it go however which way, it will, if you don't lock it down, right? Now, if you think you have a crystal near a computer and nothing's ever happened, take you a laser pointer cat toy, put it up against that crystal, right? If it goes straight through or just refracts and that's it, it's glass, okay? If you see it go in and you can see it,
Dance.
it's dance. If you see it
Yeah.
dance, now what do we mean by that, right? You will see the light on the inside going all over the place all the time, and it will come out every which way. Okay, now this doesn't do anything to damage that crystal. The light show, it's just it's something it does, right?
So I can't
And
like charge it up with laser energy for use later.
Actually, I
no,
think actually I think you could,
I
but
don't
I
know
think
how
it's a
to do that.
question of your energy hitting, going with that laser and amplifying it.
Yeah, I don't know how that would be done, but you don't need a laser to do that. You do
Learn the
that.
basics first.
Yeah.
I've got like half a dozen lasers, and I'm just
Oh,
thinking,
Mm. There's some cool
try
stuff you
taking
can
that
do
to
with
an airport
lasers.
security, right? But
well,
um,
there's one thing to consider too, that your when radio was first put together, it was using crystals.
mhm.
When
CB
computers were
radios,
put
CB
together,
radios up until the well, I don't know if they stopped, but I know CB
they
radios
still
use
have them,
them.
yeah, they do.
and
I need to get a
so
good CB
does
radio.
our computers have crystals.
Yeah. If
Okay,
you see a timing chip, that's using a crystal. If you see all those processors, okay, the fan. Have you okay, crafting gamer? Did you hear about the crystal hard drive that they developed? Okay, it's manufactured quartz crystal. It holds so many terabytes. and it is literally indestructible under normal use. And they give it. I'll just, you know what? I'm gonna pull up a link, right?
Don't worry,
Because
Justin.
I'm
I'll
going
use
to
my
let
powers
you
for
read
good.
about it yourself.
That's a good one, Jason. Or I'm
Ah,
sorry, Justin.
I'm missing it.
Watching enough 007, I know for a fact that
Okay.
you can charge up a crystal to use as a laser and destroy the moon or something.
All right. I'm going to post up one link.
Let's
This
hope
is
not.
from a science website. This is one of them, right? I'm going to read the headline, but I'm also going to post the link as soon as the thing loads up. Okay. All right. Here's the link coming in.
Ooh.
All right. Now, the headline reads, this small quartz disk can store 360 terabytes of data forever.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now,
I
when they
heard
say
about that
forever,
actually.
the researchers claim the data is stable for as long as 13.8 billion years at temperatures up to 190 Celsius.
What about
That's
Lowe's?
hot,
What
and
about
that's a
Lowe's?
long time. Hmm?
What about Lowe's?
It
How
didn't say
cold
that.
can it be?
Yeah, it didn't say. Well, I don't think it has a low floor, you know.
Okay.
And 360 terabytes. Okay, I was just
That's
thrilled to get a 1 terabyte drive. You know,
Yeah, I
one.
just almost filled one with back
yeah.
episodes of the show, and I'm like, I'm going to be on YouTube for a while longer. I might need one of those.
Well,
Yeah.
that's one example. And when is that article from?
And I mean, we let's look at 15 years ago. 20 years ago, a gigabyte was going to be all you ever need.
Right, NEC. The guy
25
from
years.
NEC
Well,
Computers said that.
I remember in the 80s people talking about actual terabytes, but yeah.
Yeah, now it's that article is from 2019. That's
Yeah.
an old article.
Yeah.
Now, at the rate technology moves, that is already tripled or or more, right?
Well,
Because
yeah, how, can you really even wrap your head around a terabyte? How
it is
much
so
information
difficult
that
to.
is?
If we didn't have
My God,
a
that's
scale to
libraries.
use, yeah, if we didn't have a scale to use, we couldn't think about that. We couldn't think about it. I
You
mean,
have to be able to quantify it, and the best thing I can do about a terabyte is look at the library and say there it is.
mhm.
Really,
It's about 75 episodes of the Shadow and Sun show.
a terabyte
Mm-hmm.
or a gigabyte?
Tara.
Okay.
Yeah, that is
And
okay.
somebody's going to go out there and compress that information further.
Yeah, and network it and sandwich it and multiply it and add another dimension. There's a lot of stuff you can do with data first, and then enter the crystal matrix. Holy crap! I mean,
We're
there
just
is. I mean,
getting to
it's
that.
yeah,
No,
and
this whole business is in its infancy.
mhm. and
Absolutely.
that's and crafting gamer. I hope this has explained a little bit of crystal for you, right? Now, that's crystals in science, in the stuff that we can look up. You can buy one right now. It's super expensive, but you can buy one. Now, what we're doing here is we're not using practical science
No.
as is accepted. Okay. No physicist is going to say, yes, you can do that, though it's theoretically possible, right? They're not
They
going
have
to
to be
admit
able
to
to
any of that,
quantify it.
right?
They have to
There's
be able
no,
to do it.
Right. There's no way to measure it yet. Um, Now there have been some studies using AI on how to do some other things, but not this. Right. Now here's okay, crafting gamer, get you a chunk of quartz crystal. This is far enough away from the computer, right? Get you a chunk of quartz crystal. Yeah, there you go. Any chunk of clear quartz. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't, like, I've got one has the terminated end. That's what they call that, the terminated, because it stopped right there.
Roulated, roulated,
Related.
because it
Okay.
has little chunks inside of it.
Well, no, I'm talking about
Little
the end of
crystals.
the crystal, the
Mm-hmm.
tip.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not talking about the substance of it. I'm talking about the fact that it's not a perfect crystal, right?
No.
And
Mhm.
it can have like, this is broken. This was, you know, the not sellable, not make you can't make it into any nice, pretty, expensive thing for sale.
No, me like this little puppy.
Right, right.
Just
Um,
smiling at the camera. Smile pretty.
mm-hmm.
You see,
It,
it's a dragon.
yeah, that crystal I got, as far as the
To
market's
get him
concerned,
away
is
from
B
this.
or C grade. Okay.
Yeah.
Or D grade, because it didn't make it. I bought it in bulk, and it doesn't have to be. Crystals are common. They don't have to be special. You don't have to, go to great lengths to find them. eBay, Amazon, bulk quartz crystal. You will find lots of sellers got them. Anyway,
Timu's
what
got him.
Timu's got them.
Yeah.
What you can do, what we do, how we use these crystals. Okay, being computers. Um, Now, I see quantum show. Okay, we define reality. You define reality as you perceive it. That's another topic. But these crystals follow your instructions, and if you don't give them instructions, it's kind of like not tying up loose ends in a programming script, right? It's going to crash or do something unpredictable. So you tell it what to do, and you tell it what to do and what you don't want it to do. You
Right.
say, avoid this, positively avoid this. So that's how I have managed to, I think, keep a computer alive this long, by actually, limiting the frequency and of commands. I think is, I know this is clear as mud, but welcome to the quantum show, right? What can I say? Um,
Mm, to answer Justin, he's saying, so from what I'm understanding, that crystal wafer is really good for single write use, or single night use, or one use.
Single use is what he means.
If you're buying a library, that's good. But if you want to create a library, not so much. No, actually, it's excellent for that.
That is an old article. That was First Blush. Okay. They
Okay.
have rewritable ones now.
Yes.
They've made them able to be rewritable with the same lifespan. Or, okay, let's say it's only 1 billion years. So it's 1 billion years. Okay. Down from 13 billion. Now, on paper, as an investor, that looks bad. It's 1 billion years. Okay. A million. It's still a good thing to have. Okay. It's no less fragile. It's not, okay. A billion, a million. It doesn't matter to us humans on Earth. Okay. Um, Now, what this leads me into, right? But this leads me into using your quantum link, the force, the power of God, whatever, right? You can meditate. Now, this one is not so potent. This is not as potent, right, as a piece of clear quartz. So I have no worries that this is going to, short out anything. But you can link with your crystal, okay? And if you're aware, you can feel it, you can perceive it. All right. You can take this crystal and you can link with it. You meditate a little bit. Now, it has to do with your mind, the frequencies you're generating, talking to this thing. It will receive whatever you put into it. So be careful what you put into it, right? And when you don't limit these things, okay, you put it near a computer, it picks up the computer and it changes it to what it talks, and then it puts it back out there. And that computer can't handle its work. Okay, that's what I've seen. Okay, I had the solid state hard drive went out on this computer. It's supposed to have what's the lifespan of a solid state hard drive? More than 5 years? Yeah, I think so. It went out, and I've had capacitors blow. I've had just all the Raven's hard drive went out, and she has another computer. They both died the same day, and she has crystals. Okay,
Yeah, a lot of them.
and I was working with her on how to do what I'm talking about. Boom, electronics died. Phone messes up. Everything. I've got a piece of soda light crystal over here, right? I did it on this show. I held it up to the screen. Phone and network both messed up because the soda light got something going on with it. I haven't looked at it too much yet, but it's a kind of crystal. But yeah, Crafting Gamer, I hope this illustrates crystal use in the mystical realms a little bit better.
Well,
I don't know if
they
it
have
has.
certain uses too. No,
Yeah,
just
and
in the
right, you can direct them. The one
right.
I'm over here with, the one I displayed right now, this is Frank's crystal. This is Frank's health crystal, right? That's the one from 3-4 weeks ago. I said, Frank, I'm gonna do this for your health, and I told it to. I programmed it, and when it's gonna keep doing that, right?
You know, I forgot that.
I didn't.
He's been much better.
Okay, well, I didn't. I have been. Every time I think about it, I keep it right over here, away from my computers, but close enough to see
Yeah.
that I think about it, and I have my own little internal script, like forming a good habit, where I go white light to Frank, and I go, that's Frank's crystal, Frank's health crystal, white light. That's what I've been doing for like 3 or 4 weeks now, right?
And he's done nothing but improve. He
Okay,
really
well,
has.
I don't know if that's been anything, but I've been doing it. And being
I accept
quantum,
all help.
yeah, I do remember he gave me permission, so that's not the issue. And my white light is unconditional love, and it goes where it needs to go. You know, it goes to Frank in his general direction. That's what I asked the crystal to do. And, well, he's in network.
Well,
Frank is definitely in network.
and those are great. You know, and for people that don't quite understand what we mean by accepting prayer, it's a very strong tenet in our faith that we do not let just anybody pray for us, because people tend to prey on us, and we don't want that. You know, it'd be amazed how many people have an agenda in their prayers, and you know, there are certain people that we trust to pray for us, and we really, well, good thoughts and good vibes are always a happy thing. And not everyone has them.
Right. And we feel out the people we do these things with.
Yes.
We feel them out.
We're also very picky about who we will work for.
Right. Right. Because people want.
Ask.
Yeah, there's there's a lot to it. Another show, right?
Yes,
That's another
absolutely.
show. Um, but I hope, Crafting Gamer, this has been illuminating on some kind of level. And if you're still here, keep it quantum. Be careful with your crystals.
Yeah.
And
Well, they're very programmable, and
mhm,
there are whole books full of information on what stone does what job, and
right.
there's and it's not all just color based. It's got to do with its abilities,
Hmm.
and when you get those balances correct and start moving and grooving with those, but it's powerful magic. It really
Right.
is
And
powerful,
it,
powerful medicine in many cases.
I consider it, being tech or oriented person, right?
Hmm.
I consider it a hardware link to our quantum link, and they're
Hmm.
really cool that way, right? Because they're so programmable that you can define your own terms and parameters,
Yeah.
much like in programming language, right? You can define your own variables within a certain criteria of limits. I don't know if I phrased that correctly, right?
No, I
But
think
in
you're
pro,
right.
okay, well, I mean, maybe grammatically, but I don't. I know there's a phrase for that, um, because I learned about it in networking. But we only touched on programming for network programming, not
Sure.
programming a computer. But yeah, like, okay, all crystals can do a lot of stuff, right?
Hmm.
But some are better at it than others. You can, like in a computer,
Very
you can take
specific.
right, you can take a sound processor from like a Yamaha something and make it
Mhm.
do video, but it won't do it very well. You can take a video
Right.
processor and make it do sound, but it's not going to do it very well. They're purpose built. Kind of the same thing with crystals,
Yes.
right? They will all do what you ask them to, some better than others, right? And that's I'm so glad that that science is paralleling a lot of this stuff, and I can understand it that way. Our nuts and bolts science, I mean, and
No.
it's I'm not going to say it's easy to liken them. They're not. Just none of this shit is easy. It's
I
just,
I
huh?
would I would say we have a friend named Marcy, and that's what Storm is talking about. Storm and Shadow,
Okay.
and Frank, and what he's referring to. Marcy has a very specific and special way of uh, of doing things. She can hit notes that some of them you literally cannot hear in the human ear, but it has a frequency that strums in the human body, and it's healing. And she's good at it. She's very good at it. And one of the things that we discussed with her, because she was just beginning this journey, and we said, we think you might be able to program crystals. We think you can. Did you talk their language?
Hmm.
It's the shrillest thing you'd ever want to hear. And she can hit notes. I swear to God, it break a glass. And but when she's finished with one of her sessions, it's it's you're very calm. You do not hurt. Whatever it is that's hurting you has stopped hurting you. I'm not sure if it's just running for cover or what, but it's not. It's working
Hmm.
whatever she does. And we've looked at other people who do the same thing, which is resonance uh, sort of sort of thing where she they too,
Mm-hmm.
hit certain frequencies, hertz, if you will, that help the human body to realign itself with chakras, with crystal
Mm-hmm.
chakras. It's all very quantum, extremely so. But you know, he he brought that up because I hadn't thought of it, but it I realized that any of the chakra healing, that's all both color and gemstone and body related. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so somewhere in there, there's a big wide field defined. No,
Mm-hmm.
exactly
Yeah,
what we're talking
totally.
about.
And she's talking about the books that you can get. I've got a couple of books over here right now. I've been perusing them lightly here and there, and you got to just feel them out. The books, I mean, you got to feel them out because a lot of people put their own opinion, ego-driven stuff in there, and you just got to feel them out. What feels right for you, because you know what, the crystals will cooperate
Hmm.
as best they can. Okay, just be sure you know what you're putting into them. If you're angry, don't do it. Okay,
No,
if you're angry, don't do it. If you're angry, frustrated, scared, don't bring the crystals into play. Just
it's Lynn Ann, and most people miss the N entirely. You know, but it's Lynn Ann.
hi, Diane, welcome
Lynn is
back.
fine. I think it's a lot easier for people just to call me Lynn.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, I had a small show yesterday, and oh, by the way, I thought I was going to be out of town doing the show on the road. Didn't happen. So, mm, and just some things, just events didn't happen thought, the way I thought they were going to happen. So,
mhm. The going back to what we were saying,
mm,
when you get the right crystal for the right job, we'll say like a red crystal, which could be a ruby, or a even a rose quartz will work for certain body ailments like fever. The old physicians used this sort of thing quite a bit. Now some of it worked very well. Then you got the guy who was a grifter. But when you realize that each of these crystals and tones and color have their job to do and start running those things together into a balance, now you've got some serious singing going on in the orchestra.
hmm yeah, when
And
you
I've
have
seen it. I've seen them work. I've seen them work really well, particularly chakra alignment.
yeah, there was a guy who he actually invented the LCD display on watches in the 70s, and he discovered that you could affect a liquefied crystal. George Heilmeyer. Yeah. And yeah, that's him. He developed the LCD display, and in his research, he found that he could materialize things on the crystal by concentrating on it with his thoughts. And he's like, "Oh, wow." And I think it said it was cholesterol, liquid cholesterol crystal or something. It was an experimentation. It wasn't, he was trying to, well, make a display, right? He was
Mhm.
trying to make watch displays.
Yeah, it was discredited at the time.
Yeah.
Of course,
And,
people
hmm
people are gonna laugh, but I think some of some of that old practice may actually find its way back in the new practice, should they be allowed to do so.
Yeah. Okay. And
He got you, Frank.
what's
Justin just said storm and shadow, and then you've got a serrated intestine due to crystal fragments. I think it's
okay?
best to avoid that diet. I think he may be right.
I had my. I was wrong about the guy's name. He was one of them who developed the LCD display, but not this. Not the one I'm talking about. His name is Marcel Vogel, and I'm going to put that in the chat right now. This is a Wikipedia page, and yeah, just so we have a reference point, I guess. But he was that guy. He passed away in 1991. Research scientist working at the IBM San Jose Research Center for 27 years. Referred to as Dr. Vogel. Honorary degree, not a PhD. Later in his career, he became interested in various theories of quartz crystals and their occult and esoteric fields of study. The Vogel crystal type was created by him. That's the one I was talking about.
Right.
That's the one Keith was talking about. They
Right.
both came to their information totally different ways. I mean, you can't get more different than our Keith Andrews.
I begin to
His,
remember who you're
yeah,
talking
his
about.
methodology. It's
One of the things about Vogel was he's one of the very few who were able to take their engineering abilities
mhm,
and move them into the unseen and begin to look at that in a quantifiable way, in a scientific way, to either confirm or debunk, the occult. And
mhm.
a absolutely brilliant man, but he was ridiculed quite a bit for doing so.
Mhm.
Now, as far as taking a gemstone and ingesting it, I think that would be the dumbest thing I ever heard of.
Yeah, it's a
Simply
rock.
because, yeah, it's a rock, and if it breaks in there, you are going to be royally screwed, because taking out shards of any kind of gemstone is worse than taking out shards of glass.
Mhm.
I sure wouldn't do it.
Okay, yeah, he came up with the Vogel crystal. Now
Hmm.
he figured out a lot of stuff like that, right? And I'm going to put this link in there too. And this is more along the lines of what we talk about, not so much LCD displays, but more like the quantum side of things. And he comes up with healing wands, and he only cut with appropriate care, intent, and precision. Okay. And I remember in the short video that I saw, these crystals could be used for good or bad. So he only released the specs to do the good ones and did not release the specs to be harmful. Okay.
Well, they're like any other tool.
Yeah.
It's what you send them to do is what their job is. Then it's not good or
Oh boy.
evil. It's the person.
He goes through, here is where him and Keith break apart. He goes through on the page I just linked, right? 4-sided, 6-sided, 8-sided, 13, 24/8, 24-12. Nothing about a 7-sided one. I
Hmm.
believe they're super rare and they have to be manufactured. And he doesn't cover them over here. I think that's the bad one.
It could
And
be, or
yeah, the
one that's
one,
not
okay,
not as beneficial as it might be.
Right. I mean, they can all be used for the wrong reason, but there's something about the cut. Okay. There's something about the cut. Keith knows this. He told me about it. And I've got a laundry list of stuff to talk to him about so we can work back and forth on stuff. And that's one of them because I have a sticky note up here for weeks. B- Blue sandstone uh, crystal computer, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
been up here for weeks. It's always on my mind.
Maybe
And
you should just knuckle under and give him a call.
I know.
He's probably waiting for you, knowing him.
Well, I emailed him a link to come on the show tonight. I guess he's busy.
I think he'd probably rather talk to you in person about it before he ever goes that far.
Oh, yeah, I'm not putting it would have to be privileged information, and I will totally honor that. I don't want to put this out in the public. The stuff that's on the internet already, I'm reporting it.
Mhm.
I'm publicizing it. I'm showing it all. But
I
what
think
he
it's
tells
more a
me,
question that he wants to be sure what exactly you want to know, so he has it there.
right? I don't
You
want
know,
to make a bad thing. I want something to help me do better at what I'm already doing. You know, and the ones I have are great. If he knows a way to make this work better, I would like to know that way. You know, and
I think it's
even
possible he would.
right, even knowing to limit them and think a certain way and give them the correct intention, they're still damned unpredictable. Okay, because I'm a newbie at this. I don't know what they're gonna do, and I'm saying do this, do this, do this. But unlike a computer, the crystals are a lot more capable than a computer, right?
Right.
So their capabilities go this way when I say go that way, and I don't know how to tell them to not do that.
Night.
Good night,
Good night,
Cindy.
Good night,
Cindy. Thanks
Cindy.
for stopping by. Um,
That's interesting. Justin brought up something that I'm sure he considers to be purely mundane, but dice are not made in the seven configuration. Now I wonder why. It's a curiosity to me more than it is anything else. But and I've heard of dice in all sorts of configurations, but not
There is actually
seven.
a company that makes things like 5 and 7 and 9-sided dice out there, but they're
Okay,
weird.
it's probably not real popular, and I wonder if it's not because it couldn't be especially balanced. I wonder if that isn't it right there. Who knows?
I don't know. Okay, further on down this page, he does mention a seven-sided crystal, seven-faceted crystal, and these are made and sold by Rumi Ron Carson at vogelcrystals.net. Yeah.
What are, what
Okay.
are they? What are they touted to do?
Uh, uh, healing wand is what
Okay.
it's saying. A healing wand, and a lot of the specs match up with what Keith has said on the screen on the show, and 3 to 4 inches long. What? Okay.
Well, she may have a good point there, crafting gamer. That again, it's not balanced, and humans look for the symmetry in things.
Digital. We have this. This is our basis of our numbers. You know,
Hmm.
I mean, going back to numbers, all numbers.
You've heard
It's just
the
it's
old
base
saying, the
10
odd
because we
man
have
out.
this, right?
The old saying, the odd
Mm-hmm.
man out, is the one who's not partnered.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Hmm.
think that that may be it all by itself. That the human beings don't like things that are not symmetrical. Just as a
Right.
matter of course, no, you'll get
Um.
the odd guy that wants that thinks one is the loneliest number, but you know, you will get that guy once in a while. But I think most of us really thrive better if in groups. Justin's asking for permission for a uh, for a YouTube uh, link.
Right. He's asking to post a link, and uh, non-moderators can't post links in YouTube, but they can post text. So remove the first H in the HTTP after you paste it, and it will paste as text, and everybody knows to put it there. Okay, and that's why that.
Do we know
I,
what the subject
Link.
is?
Well, yeah. What's the link to, Justin?
Think that that's just take care of us. We have
yeah,
some idea.
right. And even when he posts it, it's not like you can accidentally click it because it's removing the H breaks the link. You
Right.
just have to put it there. You have to copy paste. It takes more work than just a click. But what? Yeah, what's the topic of your link? So while we wait on a response, um,
A Q. Just pop it in. Oh yeah. Oh shit! I lost a number. You know.
oh, he wants to. It's for a amethyst dye.
Ah.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, amethyst. Sure, related quantum. And but
Well,
okay.
no. On topic, amethyst in particular is very good for spirituality and spiritual
Yep,
things.
that's what I've got right
Yeah,
here. This is my amethyst,
but
and
they're good for delaying or putting aside depression, anxiety. Yeah, I wear it too. I wear a whole bracelet of it,
hmm
and I have to recharge it every now and again because I literally will run it to a place where it becomes uh almost white. The
right.
color comes out. Once
Wow,
I
I've
recharge it, it goes right back to dark color again.
hmm. I have a different philosophy on it, and that people that is the way you treat your crystals is largely how they act, right?
Mhm.
But I don't drain it. I'm in communion with it. So
Mhm.
I'm all the time giving, and it is all the time giving back and doing its thing as an amethyst. So I don't know, maybe that has something to do with it, but I've never drained it because I'm always constantly charging it. Like I'm in sync with it or communion,
Mhm.
if that word applies here.
Yeah. But if it ever does go white on you, just recharge it. You know how.
I do. I do. And I know a couple ways. I know a few ways now, and now
I do
I'm just like,
too.
wow, how do I know this stuff? You know?
You know, we're always listening to everything that's being said. We don't always hear everything consciously, but we're
Right.
always hearing, whether it's a newscaster or a coven master or whomever, something that you might read just going through. And you do have total recall, it's just getting there.
Right.
I can't listen to those. Those guys are too evil.
You can't do what?
Listen to those guys. They're too evil.
You mean like a newscaster? They're not evil. They're just bearer of bad news.
Hmm.
You know, when you look at them, do they even believe what they're saying?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that
They're
must
paid
be a
well to believe
horrible
that.
job.
Yeah, they're paid very well to believe what they believe.
How do I do what, Diane? I'm not sure what Diane is asking. Maybe she can rephrase.
Yeah, I don't know what
I'm
she's
sure she's talking about charging crystals.
Okay.
She might be.
Well, is that what you mean, Diane? Okay.
Well, we'll treat it as though that's a yes.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
'cause there's
She's
bound to be
typing on a
some.
phone.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well,
There's bound to be
yes.
some idea about it. Yes, she says yes.
Yes. Do you want to field this one?
I can, or you can. You know some ways.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's what I do. Now, the easy hands-off approach, since I've been learning this stuff, is to leave it in full sun or leave it in full moonlight,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
That's one way. Um, Another way is to, like I do, I wear it and I meditate on it. And when I say I meditate on it, I focus on the feeling of it being right here, and I kind of focus my attention on it, right?
You
And I just
you let it partake of your energy as well as
right,
take from it.
and that's like right now.
Hmm.
But when I'm charging a crystal, not this one, but a crystal, right? I will like, well, let's take this one for example, okay? If I was to want to charge this, I would focus on it and I would imagine light being shined into it from all around or from me or from my energy centers. And when you get into this stuff, you're able to feel your energy centers more. Okay. I don't know how to explain that, but you just feel your energy centers, your chakras. You feel them more clearly. And
There's a real sense of being present in the moment.
right. And I focus that into it. Like, okay, when I do this, I explained this one already. This is Frank's healing crystal, right?
Hmm.
That's a few weeks ago. I asked him, I'm like, hey, do you mind if I program a crystal to help you heal up? And he said yes. So I've been like, okay. And I took a few minutes initially and I did this and I put it in my hands and I'm Frank heal. And I took everything I know about Frank, focused on it, and put heal. And it's me putting white light into the crystal and I'm giving it a direction and an instruction to heal Frank. He is in my network
Hmm.
personally. So it gets to him. And you kind of feel like, what is that thing called? Echo on when you send a ping out, echo on, where you get a reply back, message received. It feels like that, right? Like, it's like,
I got it.
you know,
I gotta say this. He has
yeah.
been saying that he's being actively pinged and he doesn't know from what direction.
Well,
So you have been. Nathan's been pinging you.
yeah, I've been using
He's felt it.
his I've been using his healing crystal every time I look at it. Frank's healing crystal, ping, I guess, but I get a reply like message received. And that's what I did initially. And now, whenever I sit at this desk, I look over Frank's healing crystal and the script in my head goes off. White
Mhm.
light to Frank. I mean, that's something I've learned to do
Yes.
is form the habit of when I see something, I let my own little self-made script run its course. And it's like, good vibes, white light, Frank, heal. And it
Yeah,
does
and
it.
that stone is doing its job. Now there
Hmm.
are other ways of of taking care of or clearing crystals, so that they do their job a little more efficiently. Mine don't have specific orders, and one of the ways that I clean these, you would say, oh, well, put them in salt. That's not a good thing to do to gold, silver, or amethyst. Malachite, it will destroy, and so will it hematite. So salt's not the way to go. But in
Hmm.
most crystals will appreciate being being in a holy water, which can be made by your local priest or priestess or
Which?
pastor or homemade. And I use moonlight,
Hmm.
especially on full moon nights. When I say it's my night to howl, it's also my night to work. New
Hmm.
moons also are nights to work. And when you make your own holy water, it's just like programming a crystal, except now
Hmm.
you're programming water.
Hmm.
So, the more minerals it has, the happier that thing is.
Yeah.
But I will take this and make a little holy water and recharge it with that because I don't want to use salt in fine jewelry. You don't use
Right.
it on amethyst anyway. Some amethyst has color enhancement done by the jeweler to make it prettier, and it will destroy that. So
Yeah. You got to worry
another
about chemical reaction too.
exactly another way is to bathe with the thing. Don't use a bunch of soaps and stuff or Epsom salts again, but you know, do your ritual bath with it. That will help clear a stone. So, there's there's a lot of ways to do cleansing. And while
Yeah.
you're at it, cleanse yourself. I mean, when I say cleanse yourself, not just cleaning your body, but clearing your whole being, your soul, and everything else. Most people understand that their connection to the universe is here in the crown chakra, and
Hmm.
above it. There's nothing wrong with taking water and going above your head and grabbing that little uh, cord to the universe and cleansing that. It also clears your mind. And
Right.
yeah, it sounds flaky until you start doing it.
Welcome to the show, Raven.
Hey,
Hello.
Raven,
Hi.
How are
can you
you
hear us
doing?
Can
okay?
you hear me okay?
Okay.
Got a lot of light behind you.
She's
What?
rocking out tonight.
Are you outside?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah,
No air conditioning, and it was 90 some degrees today, so the
oh.
Yikes.
house
Yeah,
is a
same here.
bit
It's
uncomfortable.
the light here is brutal right now. The sunlight is
Yeah.
just
Hmm.
absolutely piercing.
Yeah, it is. I had to go to the post office, and it was just miserable. I don't have any air in the Jeep either. But
Mm.
Mm.
I came out here to get the hose. I've got these miserable jigger bites that are just driving me crazy, and I got the cold water from the hose and just blasted it on my legs, and it felt pretty good. But the sun was hurting my back,
Hmm.
and I had to get out of the sun. I couldn't stand to be in it. Have I turned
Hmm.
into a vampire?
No.
That's cool.
Vampires? No such thing.
Shit, then
Yeah.
what did I stake?
Are you talking about having a steak or
No, I
eating a
said,
steak?
what did I stake?
Those
um.
guys, that's a whole nother show, huh, Nathan?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just answering Justin's question about the
That's,
links.
that's
I
its
can't.
own little subculture.
So my computer crashed Monday, and then my
What I
backup
heard.
computer crashed uh, within like 6 hours.
No more crystals next to the computer.
I've had crystals next to the computer
I
forever.
don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? You know
I've been
what
playing
you
with that.
weren't doing with those crystals? Talking to them like I've been talking, telling you how to do
Oh,
and showing you how to
Got
do.
active.
We've been activating crystals. No coincidence. We've been
no
using
coincidence.
no coincidence.
You're right.
I'm not. I'm not exactly claiming credit for blowing up your computers, but
Oh, we want to
I
pay
didn't know
you.
either.
You
Well,
volunteered for that.
the
I
the
blew mine
odds
up
of that
too.
are just ridiculous. You know, 2 computers in less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
What? I hope you
Well,
got my telepathic messages, Lynn Ann, because
I did.
Sunday I slept all day. I didn't wake
I
up
know.
until like 9 at
I
night.
got it.
Okay.
I did. I focused on you and I saw you sound asleep and I said, that girl needs her rest.
Okay.
And
Good. I hope that you didn't think I was ignoring you because I was not ignoring you at all.
no,
And it's
I
been so
figured something
crazy
went
all
on.
week. I just haven't had time to sit down and talk, and I feel bad. But I was trying to send you a telepathic message so you wouldn't think that I forgot you, because I certainly did not forget you.
Well, I know you didn't.
Okay.
No, I when somebody doesn't show for something, I figure they have a good reason. I don't worry about it. I knew you were safe. It
I
didn't
can't
No
believe the
bother me.
promises,
cat let me sleep
Justin.
that
No
long.
promises.
Say what?
I said no promises, Justin.
You got a voodoo doll? You ever seen one of those? My stepdaughter in Germany came home with this thing.
Oh
A
my
little
God.
voodoo doll.
I
I said,
saw
what in
those
the
for
hell are
sale
you
at a
thinking?
gas station.
This thing was found in Detroit. I said, what in the world are you doing? You know,
Yeah.
she goes,
No
Aren't
doubt.
she goes,
aren't they
now
better if they're
you
made out of wax?
know. You know.
Aren't they better if they're made out of wax?
You're talking about pop.
Well,
Yeah, they're
depends on what you want to
types
use it
of
for.
them. Wax ones. If you're wanting to create now, you know what? I don't think I'm going to go forward with that thought. It
Good
worries
idea.
me. It
Probably a
worries
good
me.
Yeah.
idea. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
This
I'm
is
not going
quantum
forward.
TMI.
Yeah.
You know. Hey, you know what?
Sorry,
I
Ed.
suggest everybody who is curious about that kind of stuff stick to action figures.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. This what she brought to me was basically a little joke to me. You know,
Mm-hmm.
she wouldn't do that. She knows that if she tries for something like that, she'd end up with it right back in her lap. She didn't want that. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
and no, I wouldn't do it back to her. It would just return to sender.
they found
You
it in
know,
Detroit, you say?
it would never go back to her from me.
Oh yeah.
But
I see.
because of all the protections I have on me, it would be return to sender. And that's
Yeah.
not fun.
No,
No,
it's
I
not.
don't know that much about it. It's not my area of expertise. So I don't mess with it. If you don't understand it, don't mess with it. You know,
Yeah,
it's pretty
it's
simple.
I had to study it in college
Uh-huh.
when we were doing religions of the world, and it's not anything that
It has
there's just a lot.
it has many positive aspects. And like anything very positive, it can also be very negative.
Right,
You know,
right.
because there
There's
is
a flip side, yeah.
balance to things.
Yeah. You took the words
So
right out of my mouth. Yep. So it all depends on the intention. It's layered. It's layered. There's a lot of
yes,
different so and so for this and that, and there's a lot of gatekeepers and a lot of
yeah,
portal
there's
opening and things like that.
there's so much of it I don't. Well, I have never studied it. I've never researched it. Um, I
I
want to
did.
give full understanding of a thing before I shoot my mouth off.
Yeah.
So, you know, or my foot off, which however it works. You
Now,
know,
isn't Santeria a spin-off of voodoo? Or is Santeria
Absolutely.
its own?
Well,
it's one of them.
uh,
It
it.
has many nuances, though.
I wouldn't call it a
Nathan, I think
spin-off
you
so
know.
much. You know, I wouldn't call it a
That's become its
spin-off.
own. It's become its own thing.
Yeah. Um,
Well, is it a break
Santeria.
away from?
Yeah, back in the '90s, it was considered a spinoff.
I'm sorry, Frank. I didn't hear you.
Yeah, from what I know of Santeria, it's
Conversion.
not so much as it's the idea of voodoo. And now
You
this
want
is
to
just
start
what I
something, huh?
know from exposure in the areas that I've been in, right? It's kind of like a dark Catholicism,
Ah,
right?
okay,
That's
yeah,
Frank.
from
yeah.
just
Okay,
from
I
what I
will just
know.
say what Frank said, and well, we'll just
Okay,
let it go to that. It is a perversion of a better purpose, and it is used very much in the darker magics.
right,
You know,
right.
it's favored with the gangs a lot, and
Yeah,
Cartels.
they even go farther than into the worship of Santa Merce, which is Saint
right,
Death.
right.
Yeah.
She is
Yeah, that's
the patron saint of the absolutely hopeless.
yeah, the that's another show. That is another show entirely. But we did start off talking about Lilith, okay? And
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
On the
on
dark
your
moon.
first
yeah,
one. Yeah.
yeah, that's that we did start off
Lilith
talking
is
about Lilith.
cool. I like Lilith.
I agree.
She has a lot
Uh
of aspects.
mhm.
She
Yeah.
really
And I had
does.
a guy on my radio show that is a devotee of hers
Okay.
and really gave us an education on Lilith and how to go about summoning her and how to go about um, she can be a little feisty, a little tricky here and there, but
That's the understatement of the year.
yeah.
Boy, you know what? I've got a friend of mine. Let me tell you real quick, Raven. I think you might have missed this part. I got a friend of mine who was she has started to get into witchcraft and paganism, and she
Mhm.
chose deities. Hecate, cool. Persephone, cool.
Mhm.
And Lilith. And the younger crowds that she was asking, talking about this, they were like, "Oh, I don't know if you should be going with Lilith." And I'm like, you know what? Lilith called you. You didn't call her. She called. And you know what? Okay, now I have a healthy respect for Lilith. She knows
Yeah.
it. My ex was a follower, is a follower. I don't know, right? And I know several people who are followers. And okay, of all the deities you can ally yourself with, Lilith doesn't play around. Lilith is one, I mean, the way she put it to me is the people I was talking to, kind of quoting, was likening her to Satan. And I'm like, no, no, no. Satan,
Got nothing on her.
Lucifer, and all that, he's a newbie compared to Lilith, right? Lilith,
Mhm.
ugh, Lilith, oh, and all the talk about her. And I'm like, you've already evoked her. So I
Yeah.
told her immediately, I got her off the phone right then and there. I'm like, here's what I want you to do a tribute to Lilith, just to keep things friendly, right? And
Right.
it's funny how it worked out. For some reason, I went to the store that day and bought bought some stuff, and it was I normally don't buy it. I bought spinach, right? And what I told her to do was take a piece of fruit. This is a very, very basic tribute, right? What I told her to do was take a piece of fruit and a glass of water and go out to her very special tree in the backyard and put the fruit down, pour the water out onto the ground, and say, Lilith, this one's for you, or something like that. That's a very basic thing. She didn't have any fruit. Yeah, she didn't have any fruit. So I was like, wait a minute. I had put that thing in her fridge and I forgot it there by accident. Well, this is how the force works. I normally don't buy that. I left it in their fridge. That's the tribute. Use it. And I was like, that is how the force works right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, take a handful of it and say, this is for you, Lilith. And just to keep things friendly, right? Because when you...
She does have attitude. She does.
Yeah. And if she's like, if you like, we have respect for her here. All of us do, right? We know what the deal is. Shadow, please be respectful of Lilith, right? Do not, this is the darkest of the white light magics. Right. This is the dark, huh?
Go ahead.
Okay, just so you know, this is the strongest and most hard-hitting of the white light magics is Lilith. Yeah. Okay, and the following of Lilith. So I told her, and I was not fluffy bunny about telling her about Lilith. I was very, you know what? You are not messing around with her. If you are studying her, she's already there. So you need to make this tribute. You know what? Go ahead and do this. Like, hang up with me and do this right now. Because she's in the house. I can guarantee it. And there's been a lot of chaos over there.
If she's not appeased, she will raise all kinds of
right.
And you don't want. You really don't.
And it's better to be on her good side than not. There is no neutral with Lilith.
No.
As I found, there is no neutrality. Almost every other deity that a person can call on is kind of meh when it comes to you.
Yeah,
not Lilith.
You show what you got going for you. They may or may not acknowledge you. You know.
Right.
But she either chooses you or she doesn't.
Right. And if someone out of the blue says, I want to study Lilith, you are chosen. That wouldn't have come from nowhere, okay? I want to solidify the gravity of Lilith's persona, okay? This is not no fluffy bunny witchcraft.
Since she has been invoked,
yes,
I would strongly suggest that any of us tonight make sure that we just give a little acknowledgement.
Yes, it doesn't have to be a tribute at a fairy tree. It can be just, Lilith, we're cool. That's all it takes. Okay.
Well, when she's brought up, I get greenery or a flower. She's very fond of flowers. She's fond of the bling. But something, add a little perfume to it and say, here, I brought you something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because she does not like it when she's ignored or dissed. She don't like it.
Right.
And
no,
if you do, you're going to cause trouble for yourself.
Yeah, and also, now my friend is a more or less chosen follower. If people mess with her, Lilith will not be happy with that. And
No.
she will cause bad things, chaotic things to go to the person messing with her kid.
Yeah.
And I mean,
It
of
won't
a
be
whole,
it won't be from the kid most of the time.
no, it'll be
We
the
don't have
random
to do
element. Yeah, the 1% will become 100%, right?
anything.
That
Oh yeah.
1% is now 100%. And if that person is a Lilith person, you be nice to that person, right?
Yeah.
And it's better that way because of seriously, of all the deities, you take the Book of the Dead and you look at them, all of them. Lilith's not in the Book of the Dead, okay?
She's not.
However, she's stronger than all of them, okay?
Yeah.
And those guys in the Book of the Dead won't come after you. Lilith the will,
Yeah.
right? This is now okay to
It's
everyone
personal.
listening in
With her,
chat
it's
that is not very
personal.
yeah, that is not very familiar with this stuff, okay? Lilith is the most respected deity in witchcraft. All right?
Yeah. Her and Hey Katie.
Objectively speaking.
Her and Hey Katie.
Right. But yeah, even Hecate, okay,
Oh, she'll give you a
is
chance.
more
Lilith
forgiving.
won't.
Right. Hecate is more forgiving and more tolerant of muggle of human BS.
Yeah.
Lilith,
She'll
no.
tolerate. Katie will tolerate the newbie. Lilith
Right.
won't.
Yeah, Lilith will educate that person with, like, what do they call it? A backhanded compliment, you know? That kind of thing. That's putting it very mildly. So I was very stern, and I was like, man.
I was thinking of a C4 enema, but there you go.
Right. Yeah, because let me tell you, when stuff happens, we go, oh, well, stuff happens. But when Lilith is involved, it has a flavor or feeling to it. And you're like, this is very special bad stuff. And now a big chunk of life has changed. Okay.
It's usually
She's got,
punctuated by, oh, shit. You know?
right, right. Not like, oh, I got a flat tire. Like, it's more like, oh, I got a flat tire. My rim bit into the pavement. Now I'm headed towards the wall. Right. That's at 80 miles an hour. That's more akin to it than,
And
oh, I
got
got
a
a
little
flat
light
tire.
that says that my inflatable pillow that's supposed to inflate isn't gonna. You know. You know
I don't think I caught the whole sentence. What?
The airbags. I get a
Oh,
little note
yeah,
on my
yeah, the airbag.
dashboard that says the airbag is not going to deploy this time. Thank you.
Right. Error. Airbag error. Oops. You know, and
Oopsie.
yeah, when Lilith is involved, of all the deities, you take any pantheon, right? And they all are aware and respectful of Lilith. All of them. Okay, now you can't say that much in paganism witchcraft, right?
No, almost never.
Yeah, but she's very.
She does. She's also known. She's also known as Ishtar. She's also known as Rishkigal. Although they are considered separate, that they mix up an awful lot in some of the older magics. So it's one of the reasons why I said, "Oh no, we're not talking about her tonight." Yeah,
but
why?
seriously,
and I'm not superstitious
and
at all.
Right,
but
I just, yeah, But that's how we start. That's how one of the things I started with, even in the first hour. That's what I started with because that was an experience. That happened. It's weird, y'all. During the week, not too much. Come Thursday, boom, it all starts happening. Everything just starts happening, and I don't know if reality sees, oh, the quantum guy is busy. We need to go somewhere else, and up day off. Let's go to him now. I don't know what's going on, but
Oh
and
no, they have respect. They
I'm
have
not
respect
doing
for a
anything,
job or
right?
for employment. They do. I mean, you can't very well make a good living and spread their words and what's going on if you're not employed and making a good living. Can't do it. That's part of our
Right,
service.
right,
It's
and
also part of the reason that we
right, and
prosper.
and I feel like since I am respectful and I do I meditate and do those things to give tribute to thank you for all the experience I get. I like to think I'm in good standing, but that's objectively looked at, right? I mean, anybody can say, "Oh no, you're in a horrible way," or "You're in a better way than ever." It just depends on what you're thinking of, right? But I like to think I'm in a good way with the quantum, right?
Yeah.
I
Well,
like
I
to
think
think I
you
am.
are. You know, with uh, with this sort of thing in particular, we are dealing with unhuman uh, entity. Okay, we are very much human. That is our reality, but they are not.
Hmm.
They are something else, and they have their own rules and their own agenda, so to speak. You know, to liken them to human beings, they may be very fond of us, in places. Jehovah's very fond of people in his realm.
Hmm.
It goes the same for some of the other gods and goddesses. They're very fond of the people within their realm. Then you get somebody like Lilith who says, "You want to be one of my gang? Let's see how bad." You know, and it's a whole nother matter. But she is not human and has never been.
Is she
Mm-mm.
an
You know,
Anunnaki?
pardon me.
Is she Anunnaki?
It's
An
possible.
Anunnaki?
I think Joe would be
Possibly.
able to answer that specific question better than me. But my first instinct is, uh, it's possible. But they
Yeah.
have a whole nother set of rules. They don't
Yeah.
operate on human ethics at all.
No, not
It
at all.
doesn't take a brilliant person to look at the sagas from Jason and the Argonauts or some of the Greek myths to figure it out.
Yeah, they
Mm-hmm.
got their
You're
own reasons for doing stuff. And most of the time, we can't figure out why. It seems
well,
chaotic and random, but it isn't. It's just
our
we
buddy
don't.
Enki has his own ways,
Yep.
and he's a trickster and a joker, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And wow, this is a deep topic.
Mm-hmm.
This is a really because we also earlier on related to this we brought up Santa Muerta, and Santa Muerta has a bunch of aspects, but not like Lilith, right?
No, and
Not at all.
she's sinister. With her, if you need a favor, you buy a favor.
Right.
But remember, she got a long, long memory. She did you a
Yeah.
favor.
And hmm and even Santa Muerta, a lot of people are scared to death of her,
Yes.
are more scared of Lilith. I mean, if there is one universally known deity throughout Christendom, all the Abrahamic, all the pagan, it's Lilith. Okay?
Yeah.
I mean,
She
they
crosses
all have
boundaries.
tails.
She crosses
Yeah.
the boundaries of these religions.
And
And
it's not
every
because of
single
what
one of them.
humans did. Yeah, it's not what humans did to change the stories. It's her, right? Like okay, I mean, you can Sanskrit writing, right?
Yeah.
Many different interpretations, okay? Many different interpretations. But that's not what happened with Lilith. Lilith crossed on her own accord.
Yes.
It's you got to study it. I mean, it's hard to think of that in any sense of literary or logical based on paleontological or anything, right? But it's true. It's one of them stranger than true things. And
Yeah.
I mean, okay, now she may not be called Lilith, but you can even go to non-English Aborigine and they have someone
Have something.
fitting the description, right?
Right.
And
And passed down,
I
the Aboriginals passed down from father to son, and so on and so forth.
mhm.
You know,
And
so that has to
just
be a
that was
powerful thing for it to go like that.
yeah, that's one example. Okay, now I don't need to make this. This is reality we're talking about, right?
You
Okay.
know,
Uh, I have to. I have to. Well, I don't have to, but I'm going to. If you're here, you're quantum. Like and subscribe.
and
I have
and
to. It's it's part of
Justin,
like.
Justin is
What?
saying, "Oh, she evolved throughout the years, began as a female demon common to many Middle Eastern cultures." I got news for you, Justin. She goes back farther than that.
Farther than
Much,
that.
much farther.
Yeah.
She goes back to the beginning of the world. And
Yeah.
the
Um.
old religions.
Right. I mean, it's not. That's not where she started. Okay.
No,
And it's not an idea that has evolved. I can. I can't remember all the stories right now, but I
there's a
remember the
lot.
feelings of them. You know, and every single belief system has a character in it that is matching that description. Okay. I
Actually,
mean,
there is Atlantis. Justin goes far back as
oh yeah,
Atlantis.
yeah. I think Justin is meaning uh, uh, accepted by the scientific community.
Yeah,
Is
a
that what
written
you
word
mean,
for
Justin? Clarify for us, because that's not in this room, dude.
sort of
That's
Johnny
not in
come
this
lately, if
room.
you forgive me for saying so. It's back
What?
in the Egyptian culture. It's back in Sumerian culture. Uh, what little tiny bit that's been found from Atlantis, it's there too.
Yeah,
And I
and
think one of the reasons we're so in terror of her is probably because we've known about her a whole long way.
right.
You know,
Yeah, there isn't much, but it exists. He
I
says
don't think
there
we'd
isn't
have
much
this
further back
terror.
than than Babylon. You're
There
right.
is stuff though. There is stuff.
There is stuff there, and just because it's not credited by accepted universities or mainstream archaeology doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It's there, and you're correct. You cannot. It is not accepted
You're
dogma,
right.
right?
Yeah,
And that's
it's
what all
okay.
this.
I don't care.
Yeah. It's Here you go, Justin. Get you one of these. Do some research. It's easy. Don't put it by your computer.
Yeah, no. Or your phone.
Right, or your phone. Oh gosh. Did it on screen. Did it on screen and it messed. I'm not going to repeat it, okay?
No.
Don't ask me to Oh yeah, I don't believe you. Okay. I'm not going to blow up my phone and router to appease you.
Try it
No,
yourself.
he didn't ask. He didn't. I mean, other people would ask, you know.
The nearest that anyone has to anything legitimately from the Atlantean writings has got to be, uh, gosh, is it Plato?
Yeah, Plato. Uh, Plato's
Yeah,
writings, right?
yeah.
I've
I
got.
think that's probably the first mention of them.
Mhm. And there have been traces found all over the place, but
Yeah.
they
All
call
over the
them
world.
anomalous. And even though
No.
these anomalies line up with each other, they don't line up with mainstream. So they get called unknown, unexplained, anomalous.
Well, and it seems if it doesn't fit with certain thought patterns, certain accepted rules of behavior, so on and so forth, um, it's put by the side, not really examined. I personally maintain that we have a lot of examples of Atlantis,
Right.
but they're laying on a corner of the Smithsonian or wherever because the scientists didn't have first clue what to do with them, where they
Right.
belonged or why they were there.
Okay. Justin is asking, I may believe Atlantis existed, but can you point to where it was? No. We built over most of it, and Atlantis was not one place. Atlantis
No.
was a society of
Yeah.
places. It was, for lack of a better word, a federation of areas. There was a bunch. I mean,
I
it wasn't
I
one city, right? I
I
think
think
that
they had
was.
something on every continent. I really
Hmm.
do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're finding
Yeah,
things that we can't quantify. We don't understand where they came from.
right.
Why is
And
that?
Justin, uh, history goes back much further than Babylon. That's just all mainstream will let us
Oh
talk
yeah.
about.
Yeah,
That
it's
that's been
anomalous.
proven. That's
There's a
been,
couple in Wisconsin that found a hammer, and it was they were able to carbon date the wood handle on it, and it went back to some ridiculous. I can't remember what it was now, but I mean it was like way before Sumeria, and
Right.
oh yeah,
it was a
Sumer.
fashioned
Sumer.
metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sumer. Um, and there was a whole show that Ancient Aliens did on out of place artifacts,
Yeah.
and that was pretty cool. They featured that hammer, and there was a this device that they found while they were building a road somewhere like in southern Russia. It's like a metal wedge.
Mm-hmm.
They're not
It
sure
Hmm.
if
shouldn't
it's a
be there.
broken part or piece of something that came off. Yeah, I think that those. I mean, a lot of them could be artifacts of Atlantis.
Well, and even very recently, if something didn't fit within their
Narrative.
accepted dogma and narrative,
Yes.
uh, it got covered up pretty quick.
Yeah.
Covered
Yeah.
up, destroyed, or put away, never to be seen again.
And they're
Flashed
still
to
covered up.
flashed
You know.
Indiana Jones in the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh yeah. 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 That was good. That was
That
good.
last frame.
Yeah. The Antikythera device, that computerized thing they found, the sponge
Right.
divers found right off the coast of Greece. That's an
Hmm.
interesting thing. They
That goes back way far.
yeah.
Way far
sorry about that,
before.
guys.
They,
Well,
yeah, they.
it's only a couple of thousand years old at tops, but that's like a drop in the bucket compared to hell stuff they've found here in the Grand Canyon and elsewhere. There's so
Texas,
much.
It's like
There's
finding a 747 dated back to
Egypt, ancient
Egypt.
Egypt.
Yeah.
Right. I was about to say the same thing. I was about to say the same thing. And yeah, I just the hammer. I put a link to Wikipedia, and they say London hammer. It means London, Texas, in a mine. Okay, not London, England. London, Texas.
Yeah.
I thought you're
Yeah,
talking about the one found in the river.
No, not that one. I'm talking about that's the hammer that Raven was mentioning.
Well, they found the first footprints, the oldest ones, I should say, in White Sands, and that's just 15 miles north of here. That's not right. East of here.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Is that the one that had a dinosaur print right next to it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Also in El Paso, Trans Mountain Road. Right. They found them by accident.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Yeah, I'm convinced there was a whole civilization. Whether it was Atlantis might have been was one, but
younger.
I mean,
could have been younger.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
There's just been, we reach a point, and then there's a big cataclysm, and then everybody's, moves back to the Stone Age, start all over again. It seems.
Yeah, literally.
And that would coincide with what the Hopi Indians talk about, at these ages.
Well, it blends very well.
Yeah.
Once that the world has been destroyed, once by fire, once by ice, once by whatever. And but we're coming up on that time again.
Yes.
And so that makes me a little.
What do they predict for this time? Because they do have predictions. I know they do.
We're overdue for a pole shift.
Yeah.
But as far as which element is supposed to destroy the planet, I don't know.
Yeah, but a flip would get the job done, I assure you.
See, fire. We've done fire and ice, so we've done water. So I don't know. There'll leave air left, right?
Air would do it. It's interesting that the god of air in Sumerian thought was Enlil, and he wasn't in favor of humans.
No, not at all.
Not either.
Well, then they fit right in.
But yeah, Justin was saying understandable. It's an important word from my last statement. Yeah, we weren't glossing over that. That's why I said it's anomalous, because they don't understand it. Exactly. And they meaning mainstream. But in this room, we got a pretty good idea, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, we got beginnings of a good idea, I think.
Right. We got a pretty good beginning of a good idea.
And also, I think they understand full well. I think they just lie.
Well, why would they do that?
Well, because they want to stuff here.
I didn't really expect an answer. Honest, I didn't. I know why. I was being facetious.
But Justin saying machine elves. Is there a basis for that? I mean, I like it. I like the statement. He's saying, let me just bring it up here. We're going to be destroyed by machine elves. Never trust people who can see machine elves.
You mean AI droids?
That's what I was thinking. What do you mean by that, Justin? Machine elves. Where does that come from?
That's exactly what it means.
I think that's what it means too. But I want to see where he's coming from.
In the
Hmm.
pantheon, the big pantheon, that would fall under air. It would.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
thought.
Okay, Shelly. Hey, welcome back to the Quantum Show. I don't think you said anything up to now. Um, thanks for Michio Kaku talking about string theory, referred to the mind of God. She just got it today. It's quantum and beautiful. Okay, we'll check it out.
Cool.
I mean, however my streaming services will let me. Okay,
No, you should
Justin's
Google
saying we
machine
should
elves.
Google. Yeah, okay, let's do that.
Machine elves? I can't see it for show the desktop. Come on now. Yeah, machine elves. Okay. Sure, why not? I think that's exactly what he means though.
Okay, well, I've got a whole lot of stuff on machine elves, and machine elves or DMT elves, a spirit world journey. That's a magazine, and then from monsterchildren.com, do psychedelics let us? This is off the top of a Google search. Do psychedelics let us visit other dimensions, or is it all merely a figment of our imagination? Okay,
Oh no, I'd be too
and
terrified to have that working real well.
uh, okay, there's
Well, from what I hear, DMT is only about a 15-minute experience.
Well, I would suspect that it's probably enough to kill you though. I don't know too
DMT.
much about it. I don't know anything
Oh,
about it.
DMT. It's
DMT.
no, it's not
It,
DMT. Go ahead, Raven.
the human body makes DMT.
Okay.
Yeah, DMT is
It's natural.
it sounds
Makes
Yeah.
dangerous. It sounds,
cannabinoid. It makes
huh?
But
cannabis too.
can it also be found in certain plants, like South American type?
Mm-hmm.
Can never say that word. There's, the cannabis. There's a significant amount of cannabinoids. Can never say it right.
Yeah, I
Cannabinoid.
know. I
Yeah,
can't say it either.
cannabinoids.
Cannabinoid.
Banana.
Cannabinoid.
Okay. Yeah,
Got it.
that word, that
Very
one.
cute.
But then the human
Yeah.
Worcestershire.
body makes it. Worcestershire,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. God,
I quit
now
using
I
it because
can't
I
say
couldn't
it.
pronounce it.
Uh,
Okay.
Okay.
cannabinoid.
That you know what? Cannabinoid. Yeah, cannabinoid. Justin
Cannabinoid.
Cannabinoid.
is also
Okay.
talking. He's also saying this reminds me of something. There was I don't know, uh, a trend in El Paso long time ago for what was that? It's a plant, and
Mushroom? Shrooms?
it's
Ayahuasca.
no, not
Peyote?
mushrooms.
Ayahuasca.
Salvia.
No,
Ayahuasca.
it's
Peyote.
no, it's an you can get it at like Walmart, right? But they
Salvia.
abused it.
Oh,
Salvia,
salvia.
Salvia.
There's
salvia.
also, yeah.
Yeah, this dude used to he'd
Oh, it's
videotape himself because he could never remember what he would do, and he would just
Right.
like you'd see him sitting there smoking the thing, and then he would just like fall off the chair, flop around on the. It was just so goofy, and
Yeah.
in
I
a way
can't
it was
even.
That
kind
you
of
know
funny.
what?
And
It's not
you,
fun. Hmm?
please go ahead.
No. I when that first took hold in El Paso, right? Okay, I was all about I'm not going to do anything illegal because I'm not going to get in trouble. And it was not illegal. It's still not illegal, right? But and I hadn't researched it. It was just a big trend at the time. And I got asked, "Do you want to try this?" And I'm like, "What is it?" It's salvia. I'm like, "It's legal, right?" "Oh yeah, it's legal." You know what? It was not nice, right? They videotaped me, and yeah, I was, here's what I remember, right? I was standing at a counter.
Remember the
I
internet's
had
forever.
just set, huh?
Remember the internet's forever.
I know. Oh, hey, it's still legal, but I,
If you plan on running for president in the near future or the far future, we would like to remind you that your words can be used against you, whether it's true or not.
right. But here's the experience. Here's the experience. Here's what I remember, right? I had a digital camera, the pink, cool one that I had a long time ago, and I had it sit.
That was hilarious.
Pink means clearance. Yeah, but I had that
too.
Yeah, I got that camera and I had it sitting on this glass case in this guy's store, and he was selling it. Right, it's legal, and he says, "Hey Nathan, you want to hit this?" And I'm like, "What is it? Is it legal?" "Yes." "Okay, let's hit it." Right, I'm not going to get in trouble for this, and I hit it.
Necessarily so.
Not right. I'm getting there. Right. This is what I remember.
Destruction and government property mean anything to you?
Well, they weren't watching at the moment. No, I wasn't in the army. I wasn't in the army.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't in the army at the time.
Oh, you for what? 5
Yeah.
years, 4 years after?
5. Yeah. But what I remember is setting my camera down, taking the hit, and then the next thing I remember, I am 2 steps sideways. My camera, the batteries are out, the memory card's gone, and I'm standing there like this over the thing going, "Oh my God." I didn't even know why. Yeah, I didn't even know why. They showed me the video. They walked me over to a chair, and I was like getting all high pitched talking. I don't remember any of this, right? All high pitched. I watched it. I don't have it. If I had it, I would say,
"What the hell are you talking about?"
Where is
right,
this video?
and I don't know. I wish I could find it. I would publish it.
Somebody's got it out there laughing.
It's out there somewhere. But they set me in a chair, and I went like I pivoted on one of my hips and just went wham into the floor, head first, right? And I was like, oh. I was like, my head hurts. I'm like, what happened? And then I shouldn't have done that. Okay, that was the wrong way to do it. The right way to do it is you take dried salvia, or no, you take fresh or any kind of, you take it, right? And you put it in your lip like chewing tobacco. And that is the smoking it is super fast and it's not good, right? You put it in your lip and you just calmly meditate, preferably with incense, preferably with warm oil, whatever, like you meditate, okay? And then it will seep into you slowly and your body will adjust to it and it will start working the magic, not the other way, this way. And
what I heard so far, it doesn't have anything to recommend it.
well, right, there's no reason. It looks pretty in the garden. That's about it. It's easy to tend.
Downstairs.
Yeah,
what's it supposed to do? It's done properly.
Okay,
Is it salvia,
there's other.
Or is it salsify?
Say what?
Raven, that was for you.
Is it salvia or salsify?
Salvia.
Okay.
The red.
What it's supposed to do is, when they discovered it, this is the history that I read about. When the Spaniards discovered it, they mistranslated salvia of the priests into salvia of the ghosts, right? And they mistranslated it because these were the Spaniards that were discovering this, right? And I believe Central America, maybe Mexico,
That
maybe
makes
South
some of the
America.
slaughter down there a little more understandable.
Yeah, because these guys were tripping, right?
Yeah.
They would get that and they would be tripping, and they mixed it with. They did it. Oh, I'm okay. Another show, right?
Another
That's
show.
another show. But
We're
Okay.
gonna have to
that's
start planning these things.
I know. But that was it was to them, the people who made it, was salvia of the priest, because that's who was using it to commune with God, basically.
Okay.
Quetzalcoatl and those guys. Okay. Now,
So
when
they
the
were able to
Spaniards
keep
found it,
their focus and that using a one particular technique. They probably
no,
had
that
the
was just
Spaniards and said, here's your knives and your swords. He's the enemy to the friend, you know? Let them
yeah,
fight it out
right.
among themselves.
That's kind of what salvia does when you abuse it. When you smoke it all fast, that's what do they call it? High absorption
Yeah.
rate, fast
Mhm.
absorption
Instant,
rate,
probably.
rapid absorption. That's it.
That's it.
Um,
That was, I think, in speedballing.
right.
I
And
had
that's
no
the wrong way to do it. But there are other things that give better results that are calmer, like green tea will do it. And you don't have to smoke it. You just mix it right. And I mean, I'm talking like the strong stuff, okay?
yeah.
The strong stuff. They didn't have green tea in South America, but that's what I remember reading. It's like it's in the effect that you get. You drink strong green tea like oolong, and you will get a similar effect,
Yeah.
but not the abusive effect.
No, and
The
understand we absolutely disclaim anything on this show
Yeah,
regarding whether or not somebody uses it.
right.
Nope, not
Use it at your own discretion, not promoting, just
at your
reporting.
risk. At your
And
own
this is
risk.
history, right? I'm
Yes.
reporting on true history. I'm not saying it was good or bad. I'm saying it happened. Um, okay, I'm looking.
I'm all for CYA. I really am.
Yeah,
You
very
know,
much so.
I would say that a lot of things were done for the sake of spirituality that
Yes,
would have done better not to have been done.
right.
Okay,
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
the spiritual practices of the Mayans and the Incas come to mind,
Hmm.
but there were plenty of others. The Oracle of Delphi, it's well
Yes.
documented to be using stuff that cracked them
Oh,
up,
yeah, they're using the
made them
poisonous
insane.
gases that were coming up the air vents from the volcano,
Yeah,
for heaven's
for
sakes.
certain, for certain.
And she said,
Hmm.
and to make matters even more crazy, okay, she's sitting on a like a stool, but it's got really long legs. There's like 3 legs and this little seat at the top that's positioned over this vent, this volcanic vent, basically. I
Right.
mean, it's a wonder she didn't fall off the chair. How the hell did
You know,
stay on
we
this
don't
thing? I
know
mean,
they didn't. We
yeah,
don't know that. We
that's
don't
true.
know they
Maybe they
didn't
did.
die from it after a certain length of time. It
I know.
wasn't documented.
They're like, what?
They just hollered next. You know?
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot.
And
Okay,
then
well,
a lot of
y'all.
times the priestess would be mumbling stuff, and the person that came to ask the question would then be taken off to the side, and one of the priest guys that works there would translate it. Because sometimes she would just be talking absolute gibberish.
Tweety bird. You know?
Well, you sit there, you inhale noxious volcanic fumes. I imagine, yeah, that would.
Can you imagine what misery that must have been?
Oh my
Truly,
Mhm.
God.
truly.
who ever thought, who invented the whole system? It had to be a little
I
twisted.
don't have to guess that. It wasn't women.
It wasn't women, that's for sure.
Hey now.
It was the religion of, hey, y'all, watch this.
Hold
I
my
know.
beer. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, y'all, we've been going for over 3 hours on the panel, and this has been excellent. It has been excellent, but I am losing fuel over here. I'm losing power. And
Making your coffee a little bit less strong or what?
it's half calf. My doctor said half calf. I'm like, okay. It's like, what do you do? But yeah, it's been, well, true.
what I
That's
did
an
about
option.
You know what I did about it when they told me I couldn't have coffee anymore.
Yeah, I
got
do.
another
You're like,
doctor.
yeah.
What I would do.
Yeah. But okay, y'all. But yeah, it has been 3 hours and 20 minutes and counting. And this has been an awesome panel. We have had the greatest discussion since the last discussion. It's the best show since the last show,
What
right?
was the last discussion?
The last show. Mm-hmm.
The last show?
Last week.
Yeah, last week.
What was it? What was it?
Oh, that's
Oh,
easy. We were talking about Las Vegas and
yeah,
the
it
aliens
was
and that stuff.
it was a ufology show,
Yeah.
and it was still good. It was the ufology. We were talking about all that stuff.
Yeah.
And the cats turned on the shop vac in the garage, and
Right.
Things
the
got
raccoon
real.
broke into the house while I was sitting there talking, and a whole lot of other weird stuff.
Yeah.
Rescuing kittens out from underneath porch.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I remember that.
Tonight I had a June bug in my hair. I couldn't get out. It was just ridiculous.
That's fun.
Oh, I hate those damn things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Extermination techniques. Sorts of good stuff.
Yeah, Justin, not tonight, man. Not tonight. I'm not. I had a very stressful weekend and had its good points, but it had its really stressful, and it just took a lot out of me. And I've been like, there's just been a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and y'all, I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. Don't go anywhere. Got to talk private backstage. Sorry, audience. We have
exuberance.
We have the after party. Yeah.
Don't worry. I'll tell you later.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been over 3 hours, so I'm gonna go make some full calf coffee in just a second. Yes, yes, I know. I know.
Cool.
I'm not.
We didn't
But
get
yeah.
a chance to say, "Hey, Shelly," but I don't have a problem with her.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
We didn't give it. You want to throw that up there real quick? That's fine.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
We did. I'll tell you, when we get started, it's like shotgun blasted. You never know what's coming out the barrel.
Right. Yeah. Wouldn't have it any other way. If you want a structured show, if you want highly structured shows, they're out there, not here. If it's related, it's on the table.
Don't look on my channel either. Don't look on my channel either.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like herding cats. Raven cat. A whole dissertation on that one.
Right.
I'd rather hurt cats than the jokers on my earlier show.
Oh Lord.
Jackie was there.
Y'all,
Justin was there. No, they're good guys. They're all great guys.
Are we backstage?
Not yet. Not yet.
Have the chat, interact with us, because if you don't, we don't know what you want to hear about. And between the four of us, boy, we got a lot.
Yeah, and
That's for sure.
we all have. You know what? I love that we bring all these different experiences in the field to here, and we can relate to each other so well, but from totally different points of view. I love that, y'all.
I do too.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you don't
I mean,
do
we all
that, you
have,
end up with one point of view, and that's no good.
right. One point of view is that's kind of like totalitarianism, and I don't do that. And I would gladly have somebody come on and argue with me rather than have that. You
Oh,
know?
you'll have to wait for Joe for that.
Yeah, I will.
What the hell's Joe been? What the hell's up with Joe?
Well, I've mentioned it. He uh, he has severe allergy to some of the things that fly around this place. We've had some severe dust storms here, and that puts everything in the air. But he had
Yeah.
done some burning, and he got a scalded lung, and he's
Mm.
busy
Oh, shit.
healing that. It's
I'll pray
taking
for him.
time. I saw
Wow.
him today, and while he's doing a lot better, he's still got a little cough. And
Just you were all of those jokers.
yeah, really, I think boy, some of the stuff you were bringing up was great. But yeah, he's gonna get himself back together again soon, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, tell him we miss him.
Oh yeah.
I have.
Me too.
We're praying for him.
Yeah. I mean,
Careful
I know
with
he can't.
that.
Yeah. That was covered earlier.
Yeah.
That was covered earlier. But okay, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and start hitting buttons. Y'all, it's been the best show since the last show. If you're here, you're quantum. Hit like and subscribe and keep it quantum. Y'all have a good week. If anything comes up, watch for quantum shorts. Y'all have a good night. Pushing buttons.
Sayonara.
Pushing buttons. All the buttons.